Miss Spoopy. How's everyone doing? No, we're early. I know we're early. I had it scheduled for 12:30, but there's no use in waiting around whenever I'm all ready, right? Got coffee. Finally got everything up on D&D Beyond, ready for Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. So, in this live stream, for those of you that haven't been here before, I'm a real design-focused kind of an analysis channel. I try to figure out what it is about this game that's fun, why certain features might feel a little bit weak, a little bit strong. I'm a platinum best-selling character option designer over on the DM's Guild, and I am just taking a look at these new options from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. We're going to start out this one with taking a look at the character options, and just kind of whatever pops up in chat, we will go from there. In general, I think a lot of what we're seeing here is going to be pretty good overall. Hey, Fry, how's it going, man? In general, everything I've seen so far looks relatively strong. I do worry about some of the options. Hexblood is something I'm excited for because of build potential, what's going on with this one. Let me turn that down just a little bit more. And I'm worried about some of the clutter that's going on with College of Spirits, and the Undead I remember being pretty excited for whenever we talked about it in a live stream in the past. I remember it doing at least some stuff that felt pretty unique, and Warlock is a tricky one to design Undead options around because of the way the pack magic works. We've all talked about that here. I've been doing basically nothing but Warlock breakdowns for my subclass reviews for the last, like, 2 or 3 months, it seems like. So, yeah, if you're interested in my takes, hang out for the live stream, and then subscribe if you haven't already, because while I'm not a official designer for Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that, I'm trying to bring a designer's input on here. I've done a lot of research into this game for the last 5 years, and now I do it to freelance and make some cash. So yeah, Vampire Centaur. This is the greatest D&D book of a generation, like Polygon said. I don't know that I would say that much. It's a cool product. I like a lot more of what I'm seeing here than what I've seen in previous books. Unfortunately, I think that the character options might be a little... Oh, thank you so much, Bolt. I really appreciate that. The character options are, I think, one of the weak points of this book. I say that, the subclasses, I think, are probably one of the weaker points of this book, just from what I've seen from the College of Bard or the College of Bard, College of Spirits. There's some oddness happening with College of Spirits that we'll talk about here in a second. But if the Warlock is anything like what I remember from the Unearthed Arcana, I really dug the Unearthed Arcana. We might pull that up and do some side-by-side analysis, but we're hanging out today. Pretty chill live stream. Just going to be talking about whatever you guys want to see in the book. If you haven't seen it already, I'll pull it up here on D&D Beyond and we can talk about it. I will say, some of the leaks I heard about this book are totally false. Someone was trying to say that there were no stat blocks in here. There's actually a lot of really cool monsters in this book. So that was super... I don't know if I ever actually said anything about that, but if I did, that's my bad for misleading anybody. Yeah, it was just Reddit trying to be Reddit, apparently. So, let's get in and talk about the Bard College of Spirits, because I've actually done my dive over on the Bard page. Let's get that pulled up. Let's see if we can't get some... There we go. Is it true that there are no unique Dreadlord stat blocks, though? Yes, that is true. I think for somebody that... How do I put it? There's Barovia lore in this book to really love. But... Okay, the Barovia lore is pretty cool. The stat blocks are what I think is kind of the winning point for this. Let me try something real quick. Can I get a background on chat? How do I get that to show? Trying to make sure you guys can actually read chat whenever it's over there. That looks good, right? Right? Is that gonna work? Please tell me that works. Oh, okay. I don't know. We'll mess with that. Hey, there we go. Oh, I'm a genius. Okay, cool. Yeah. How would I handle a Hexblood becoming full-blown hag while allowing the player to play the character? If it completely, like, overtook their character, then it would probably be the kind of situation where, like, that character might, and some people don't like this take, right? But, like, I think what's really terrifying is if they actually lose control of their character. If the DM actually takes control of them, and then the party's going to really consider, like, non-lethal damage, or how can we get rid of this curse to bring that character back? It's the way that I run lycanthropy, except if a character takes an option that specifically states that there's a means for them to control their lycanthropy, like the Accursed class by Ross Leiser, or maybe like Blood Hunter in some manner. But yeah, I generally say that, like, if they go full on hag, then, like, if they want to embrace, like, all the evil sides and everything, then that might be that's something I would really try and talk to that player about and see what they want to get out of it and how they think it should function. Communication is key and all that stuff. So the Dreadlords may have been nice to have. I think that people that are really, really into Ravenloft lore are going to be let down by the fact that they don't have those in here. But you know, in this stream, we'll hang out for the first, like, hour or two, talk about just the different character options right here. I think that from what I've seen so far, the Hexblood is the most interesting. The Hexblood to me looks like the kind of option that, woo, man, certain builds are going to get a lot of love out of. I think that's going to be the big shining star in this whole thing. College of Spirits Bard, if we get to start talking about this one, right? So, generally, in chat, let me know what you all think. Book explicitly calls it the character becoming NPC if they go full. Okay, yeah, there you go. I think that that's the easiest way to handle that, realistically. Like, you know, they are now in control by the DM and yada yada yada. But, you know, always make sure you talk to your players about removing any sense of agency like that, because that can be a not super fun thing to experience, or really to have it pop up on you like that. So College of Spirits. What's going on with this thing? Bards in the College of Spirits seek tales with inerrant power, be they legends, histories, or fictions, and bring their subjects to life. Using occult trappings, these bards conjure spiritual embodiments of powerful forces to change the world once more. Such spirits are capricious though, and what a bard summons isn't always under their control. So there is a random element to this, and generally whenever I see randomness, at least to this level, as core features, I tend to think that because that's unreliable, it's a bit scary. I tend to push that towards, like, weaker in my rating scale. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in. Thanks, man. Good to see you, Fry. We need to collab sometime. We'll talk. But this is an interesting option. I've only gotten so far into my dive on it. It is another bard that we're seeing essentially 2 6-level features on, so that's something to think about. There's a lot of clutter that's happening with this 3rd level. Okay, so you get basically 3 features. There we go. Guiding Whispers. You get the Guidance cantrip, doesn't count against the number of bard cantrips you know. For you, it has a range of 60 feet when you cast it. Guidance is already a really, really fantastic support cantrip. You being able to cast this at range instead of touch, you're basically able to somewhat supplement your bardic inspiration by doing this, right? You touch one willing creature before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4, and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice. It can roll the die before or after making the ability check, the spell then ends. Concentration, 1 minute. It's not as powerful as bardic inspiration because it doesn't apply to attack rolls and saving throws, but it's something to supplement you only using your Bardic Inspiration to do ability checks, right? Range is 60 feet, so it's going to be the same thing as Bardic Inspiration, if I'm remembering that completely right. Yeah, 60 feet. So, I mean, you're getting one of the great support cantrips, probably one of the strongest support cantrips, and then you get to cast it at range of 60 feet. Guiding Whispers is going to be purple, and I think before getting super into the Spirit Tales thing, I think this is probably going to be the one that you're going to be using the most. Spiritual Focus, I actually think that this, it depends on how your table interprets this, but if we're going vanilla rules, Adventurers League like style play, where you're playing the game as vanilla as possible, I think this one's actually pretty weak. So the top part is straight up a ribbon, right? You can use the following options as a spellcasting focus for your bard spells: a candle, a crystal ball, skull, spirit board, or Taroka deck. It's just flavor, tasty spice. Now, at 6th level, you get this enhancement, and I don't know what this is really doing for you, as per rules is written. Starting at 6th level, when you cast a bard spell that deals damage or restores hit points through the spiritual focus, roll a d6, and you gain a bonus to 1 damage or healing roll of the spell equal to the number rolled. What this would mean is that the spell, number 1, would have to require a material component, and that material component cannot have a cost. So this is pretty limited. We're talking about, as far as Bard goes, I know that they get magical secrets. I don't think that this is a good way. I think that this actually might make magical secrets a little bit worse, because if you don't pick particular spells, this might just be a nothing feature. This might just do nothing for you. Now, if you do pick those spells, you do get those damaging spells or whatever, and you can add another d6. It's a little bump, right? 3.5 damage on average that you can do per... I think that the College of Spirits Bard, honestly, I would be a lot happier with it if this just got removed. I think that this is clutter. I don't think it's really necessary clutter, and I don't really know what it's adding to your character. If someone comes up with a spell, like we tried this morning talking about what different spells, me and a few other designers, what spells this would apply to, and nothing really seems super consequential. I can't think of a build that this really enhances in a meaningful way. So I think that Spiritual Focus is actually a little bit weak. Now, if you're just doing this to where any bard spell you cast is this way, right? That's not the way that it's codified, but I know that it's the way that a lot of tables are going to interpret that, then yeah, this is going to be purple. So it swings depending on how your table is going to interpret this feature. So overall, my thoughts on Spiritual Focus, going off the rules, probably pretty bad. If you're just applying it to every bard spell, this is a very strong feature, because this is just straight up bonus damage. If you cast the spell, you just do extra damage. Yeah. So I don't know what flavor that's really adding to this bard, though. If I'm just, yeah. Tales from Beyond. So this is what's going to be the big meat and potatoes of this bard, from what it feels like. So does magical secrets make the spells count as bard spells? Yes. So there are various spells that you can pick with that, but I think that we're getting into some, like I mentioned on Discord, right? This is kind of, it's what I'm going to call an erasure of choice, right? Where you look at this, and this is pigeonholing you towards certain spells. So if you can pick those spells up, and they count as bard spells for you, and again, if we're doing this rules as written, this is pushing you towards very particular spells for a build. If we're doing this, open to interpretation, then this is going to be very remarkable and apply to any spell that you pick up. So I'm curious. I think that we'll most likely see on Twitter Jeremy Crawford clarify what this is supposed to do. But if this is interacting in the way in which I believe it is, I think this is actually a very weak feature. Very weak. I don't know about detrimental, because there's nothing negative that's happening here to you, but this feels pretty not great. Yeah. Tales from Beyond doesn't fit on a character sheet. It's just so thick. Exactly. So whenever I'm designing, I really don't like putting in an entire table like this. The only times that I've seen this really work out really well is if the subclass is saying something specific about a core class choice. Like, yeah, I know I keep praising the guy here on this channel, but Ross did with his Shaman. All the different subclasses get a very particular feature off of a table, depending on your spirit guide choice. So realistically you get a table like this, but instead you only get one of the features corresponding to the way that you built the Shaman. Is super modular. I really dig what he's doing with that class. True, it does make you have to take spells with a material component, as those are the ones that require a focus. Yeah, that's the one that's what I'm worried about. And not only that, but like, if you're casting it through the spiritual focus, this means that the spell cannot have a gold cost associated with the spell, or associated with the component. So I really don't like that. Yeah, I worry about spiritual focus. Tales from Beyond. So, while you're holding your spiritual focus, you can use a bonus action to expend one use of your Bardic Inspiration and roll on the Spirit's Tales table using your Bardic Inspiration die to determine the tale the spirits direct you to tell. You retain the tale in mind until you bestow the tale's effects or you finish a short or long rest. You can use an action to choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you, this can be you, to be the target of the tale's effect. Once you do so, you can't bestow the tale's effect again until you roll it again. You can only retain one of these tales in mind at a time, and rolling on the Spirit Tales table immediately ends the effect of the previous tale. If the tale requires a saving throw, the DC equals your spell save DC. Woo! Alright, so, one thing that I am I like some clarification on, right, is that you retain the tale in mind until you bestow the tale's effect, or you finish a short or long rest. I don't think that this provides a passive benefit. I don't think that this means you get the tale and then this effect is on you until you tell it to somebody else. I think because it has this text right here, this can be you, this means that you have to choose yourself as an action after you use this bonus action to target yourself with this. So there's some clutter happening with that, right? Clutter in the action economy, a pretty big feature bloated kind of a feature here. Tale of the Clever Animal. I almost feel like this might be a little bit redundant if you're using this for somebody else, because this is just, you're giving them, okay, so for the next 10 minutes, whenever the target makes an intelligence, a wisdom, or a charisma check, the target can roll an extra die immediately after. It's your Bardic Inspiration die. So can someone tell me how this is any different, other than the fact that this can, choose you? How is this any different than Bardic Inspiration? Like, what is this really applying to? Maybe Counterspell, right? Like, I guess it applies to Counterspell. You can add your Bardic Inspiration to Counterspell, which is good. That's about the strongest use of this I can think of. Like, I don't know, anyone in chat, am I misinterpreting that? Because this just feels like a way for you to only target yourself for Bardic Inspiration, which, I mean, you can't normally do, so that's a thing, I guess, but it's only specifically for Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma checks. If someone in the chat, give me a heads up if I'm reading that wrong, because it feels... I mean, it's a benefit, right? But, like, I mean, because you have to expend your Bardic Inspiration to do it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Tale of the Clever Animal. Tale of the Renowned Duelist. You make a melee spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes force damage equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die, plus your Charisma modifier. So it's just a melee spell attack to force damage. I mean, 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma mod is a big oomph. Are you as a bard are going to be pretty decent at being in the midline? And I guess this is encouraging you to get up into the front line, and you don't have a disengagement tool at that point. So you can do this. It's not technically casting a spell. You're using your action to do that, and then Bard doesn't have a disengagement tool that they can use as a bonus action. So you retain inspiration, right? I think you expend it. Yeah, you expend one use of your Bardic Inspiration. So no, you don't get to retain it. You retain Bardic Inspiration, so maybe you can hold onto that increase to any checks you make. If that was it, and it was a passive benefit that you could just have all the time, like on my first read through of that, then this would absolutely be a purple, if not gray. That would be way, way, way strong. If you just got this passive benefit, if you just hit this and then you retain the tail in mind, I hope nobody's interpreting this to be that way. I would look... Tales from Beyond needs some clarification, I'll say that much. That needs a Twitter response from Dan Dillon or Jeremy Crawford. But Tale of the Renowned Duelist overall is going to be very, very good. Starts out as 2d6, scales up to 2d... Oh, wait. Scales up to 2d12? Bam, there we go. I mean, it's nice, but... I don't know, I'm not feeling a lot of oomph out of that. It is definitely a hit, you know. Tale of the Clever Animal doesn't seem to end after you make the roll. Yeah, that's all clarified up here. You only retain one of these tales in mind at a time, and rolling on the Spirit's table immediately ends the effect of the previous tale. Oh, wait, you're right. It's for the next 10 minutes. Oh, wow. Wait, you're right, it's better than Bardic Inspiration. Holy crap, no, you're right. That's my bad on misinterpreting that. Yeah, Tale of the Clever Animal. Okay, so it's straight up better than Bardic Inspiration. Because this is a way for you to... I mean, it'll apply to charisma checks. Bard's already super, super good at counterspelling. So... That's... Okay, I can't knock that. That's gonna be pretty strong. Yeah, it's just whenever. As long as you're not using this feature again, then that's gonna be a really good one to roll up. On spells with a gold piece component and another component that doesn't require gold pieces, can the focus be used for the non-gold piece component, thus giving you the bonus? Oh man, I'd have to really dig into that. As from what I understand, or at least the way I've interpreted arcane focuses, is that these replace very minor elements of a spell. So if you go with that interpretation, like if a spell, you know, you provide this component but you also provide the other thing with the arcane focus, then this is a thing that I've never had to like really question, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of question that like I've never really had to ponder as a designer. I think we'll get some clarification on this. I really do, because this is kind of a confusing way in which this works, and then this sentence right here I think is a little, yeah, confusing at times. You roll a 3, you can get Tale of the Beloved Friends. The target and another creature of its choice you can see within 5 feet of it gains temporary hit points equal to your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier. It's a nice little bump. You're basically always going to be burning that. Now, that's 2 creatures getting a use. Okay, your Bardic Inspiration die. It's definitely weaker than what Artillerist Artificer can do with the Eldritch Cannon. But it's a good effect. I'd say it's definitely worth burning your Bardic Inspiration for that. Eldritch Cannon, by the way, I don't know how many of you have really looked at Artillerist. Yeah, Artillerist Artificer with their Eldritch Cannon is just getting such a crazy strong support thing with that. Tale of the Runaway. The target can immediately use its reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. When the target teleports, it can choose a number of creatures it can see within 30 feet of it up to your charisma modifier to immediately use the same reaction? That is so strong. I'm not overestimating this, right? I'm not misinterpreting that. This is so strong. 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. How is this not... This is, what, okay, so 12... Okay, so that's what, 8.75% chance? Hang on. What am I told? Okay, I was close. Well, not really, but whatever. 8.33% chance that you're straight up giving can immediately use this reaction. Wait, does this... When the target teleports... It's right, it's the GTFO button, but... That's an insane use for your Bardic Inspiration. Yeah, Vesuvius, yes, this is a random table. If I remember right, you can roll twice later on and then choose one of the... Yeah. If you roll the same number twice, you can ignore the effect on the table. That increases that by like... Oh, what's the probability? Does it double it? I think it... Like a 16% chance. If you roll double, it's... Oh god, the math right now on that. I genuinely think Tale of the Runaway might be way too good. This is super strong for just a use of your Bardic Inspiration. This is effectively up to 6 uses of Misty Step, which is a 2nd level spell for the cost of a Bardic Inspiration die as long as you hit this. This better not continue to work. This better not work more than once. This needs to work and then be done. If this works more than once over the time that they have this, I guess they immediately use it, then the effect is over, right? That is... Oh, man, I genuinely think Tale of the Runaway might be overpowered. Think about it like that. You're giving 6 creatures a 2nd level spell slot. Well, in one of the best positioning tools, if not the best early level positioning tool in D&D 5e. I think Tale of the Runaway is scary strong. Yeah, I gather that since they immediately use their reaction, that's kind of what I'm thinking, even if it's just that once use. Holy hell, that is so good. I think that this is above what I would consider to be kind of acceptable. If it was just the one target, I might not mind this, but the fact that this is a number of creatures it can see within 30 feet of you equal to your charisma modifier, this is insane. This is... Let me make sure I'm interpreting this right. Hang on. What? That. Okay, I'm gonna ping Ross and Benjamin. Where'd you go? Yeah, let me hit them up real quick and see. I am actually really scared for Tale of the Runaway. I sent them a message and I just sent the screenshot and said no. This is looking way too good. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, it better not be. You better not be able to do this more than once. This had better be a one and done. Even still as a one and done, this is still up to 6 2nd level spell slots for free. Even in the, I don't think it's really acceptable to be using chance as a means of balancing. Unless you have a way of really, number one, you have to make the chance reliable, right? For a thing like this, like reliability is a big reason why the wild magic sorcerer just doesn't feel like it's a meme, right? It's just straight up a meme. Wild magic sorcerer can straight up just blow itself and its buddies up if it has a 2% chance of just straight up blowing everyone in the party up and ending the campaign. Wild magic sorcerer is completely off the rails and totally unreliable. This is like, all these features are generally pretty good, right? These are all going to be really beneficial from what I've seen so far. Now I'm seeing invisibility. Okay, yeah. So, Tale of the Runaway, I really worry about. I'm just gonna say, I think that this whole thing right now is probably gray. Actually, let me reel that in. I'm gonna say that I think that all that is gray. This, I don't mind super much. Yeah, what if they get lucky? You know, like, yeah, this had better be a one and done. I hope that this is a one and done. And that could be, I really hope that it's worded a little bit better. Yeah. Maybe if this just said, and then this tale immediately ends, or something like that. Okay. Tale of the Avenger. For 1 minute, any creature that hits the target with a melee attack takes force damage equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die. I genuinely like that. Cool. So, average of 3.5, scaling up to 6.5. That's a great defensive use. Like, I love this. Yes, make the support more of a support. This is a great use of your Bardic Inspiration. It is nowhere near Tale of the Runaway, though. Ooh. Tale of the Traveler. The target gains temporary hit points equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Bard level. While it has these temporary hit points, its walking speed increases by 5 feet, and it has a +1 bonus to its AC. Jeez. All good. I look at that and I think that this is definitely better than some of the other effects on here. If we just compared Tale of the Traveler to Tale of the Beloved Friends, like, I think Tale of the Traveler is on a different kind of level. I mean, sure, that's 2 people getting the temporary hit points, right? But, like, is 10 temporary hit points worth 10 feet of, or sorry, is an average of like 8.5 temporary hit points equal to 10 feet of walking speed and +1 bonus to your AC? I'm pretty okay with it, but like, I just don't know that these are all created. I don't think they're all on the same kind of level, you know. I wonder if you could nerf Tales from Beyond somewhere else to make the whole table choose your ability instead of random. It's possible. You know, the quirk in this, I think of like, they're capricious though, and they're not always entirely under their control. This is meant to be kind of like a wild magic analog for Bard. Tale of the Beguiler. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or take psychic damage equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die, and the target is incapacitated until the end of its next turn. An incapacitated creature can't take actions or reactions. Alright, action economy denial is so damn strong coming from player to DM. If the enemies that you're throwing at the party, like, okay, so basic design thing here. The action economy in 5th edition very heavily favors the party. It's just a rule of thumb that in most combat scenarios, the enemies that aren't of equal or higher number to the party, okay, let me say this. Whoever has more control of the action economy in D&D 5e tends to be the group that comes out ahead. The exceptions to this are situations of like minions, right? If you have like 1 hit point creatures that you're sending at the party, they can deal with those just fine, right? But if you're doing things like, you know, a party of 3 going up against, let's say like 3 third level characters going up against 3, let's say it's a first level creature, I don't know, or CR1 creature, I don't know, an imp, maybe. The imps are gonna get wiped out. I don't know. Anyways, so Action economy is a very, very strong resource in D&D 5e. If you're able to expend a Bardic Inspiration die and pick this up to where you incapacitate it, and the creature can't take actions or reactions, that's scary, scary, scary. The 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die, I don't super mind. I almost think I would have preferred this, that the target is confused as per the confused spell. I worry about that. I think that incapacitated might be a little too good. That's going to end spell effects. Yeah. I think that that's a bit above budget. I do think that that's a bit above budget. There are some spells that can do this, but your Bardic Inspiration is going to come back to you on a short rest at later levels. So, I don't know, chat. You let me know what you think. That's a lot that you're getting out of that. A lot. Especially for a Bardic Inspiration die. You're not getting the benefits of Bardic Inspiration, which is really good. It's a very heavy debuff. The damage is kind of whatever. It's a fairly weak damage type. But incapacitated. I guess it does have to succeed on the saving throw. Okay, you know what? Hang on. Let me do that. Now you use that against a construct. It's not doing a whole lot. It doesn't take the psychic damage. I think that... Okay, let's say this. Psychic damage can be weak. I'm going to put it in blue. And the target is incapacitated until the end of its next turn. Jesus. Wow. That's really damn good. Not quite as good as like maybe being stunned or paralyzed, but jeez, man. Action economy example: a creature with 3 attacks isn't as good as 3 creatures with 1 attack each. Yes, they have more hit points in amongst the pool because they have 3 bonus. Yeah, there you go. See, not a dog gets it. Tail of the Phantom. The target becomes invisible until the end of its next turn, or until it hits a... Okay, this is all fine. This is all fine. If the target hits a creature with an attack during this invisibility, the creature takes necrotic damage equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die, and is frightened until it's in the... Okay. This is all okay. Really great effect up here. It's kept in check. I'm totally fine. Or until it hits a creature with an attack. This does not cover spells that don't require an attack roll. If you're able to use Tail of the Phantom on a spellcaster that's only subjecting other creatures to spell damage, then this invisibility is not going to end. So, yeah. Don't use Tail of the Phantom on your Barbarian. Use it on your squishies. Use it on your big blasters that are trying to subject everything to saving throws. And just keep them invisible the whole time. I think that might need to be reworked. Until it deals damage. It is usually what we're used to seeing in an effect like this. If the target hits a creature with an attack during this invisibility... Yeah, fireballs from invisibility. Exactly. Because then, like, what... I mean... Unless you've got some mages in your arsenal, then, like... hey, Zandy, what's going on? Unless you are... how do I put it? Invisibility is a real hard counter. There are a lot of monsters that have blind sight, that have echolocation, that have tremor sense. Is it Devil's Sight? I can't remember. True Sight, Blind Sight, whatever. They have means of possibly finding invisible creatures, but like it's few and far between, and we're relying on a fairly rare... Yeah, well, I say fairly rare. We're relying on an uncommon trait. It ends at the end of the... Oh, until the end of its next turn. Thank you for the correction. Okay. Then that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, I'm actually okay with this. Thank you for catching that for me. Yeah. This is all fine. Necrotic damage can be a little bit weak, but it's It's blue. Yeah, if it ends at the end of its next turn. See how quick my opinion can change like that? Someone lets me know about a misinterpretation. Yeah, Tale of the Phantom, it's good. I have no problem with that. Yeah, there is a lot of gray and purple. I generally think that features in D&D 5e are going to fall into that, like, green, blue, and purple. If it's purple, that means that I think that it is seriously providing you a great benefit that you are usually always very happy to get, and it's going to come into play very often. If it's blue, it means that I do think that there's a chance it might fall off a little bit at later levels, or maybe it's very specific, or it's a damage type that is... If I'm going to do this mathematically, I would say maybe that like 20%... Nah, let's reel that back. That like 10% of monsters have resistance or immunity to. The one damage type that I think is just universally bad from player to DM to deal is going to be poison damage. So if you've got a core class feature that's relying on you dealing poison damage, that's where I think that that's very weak. Tale of the Brute. Each creature of the target's choice it can see within 30 feet of it must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes thunder damage equal to 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die and is not prone. The creature that succeeds on this, this is all fine. Especially, it's the use of your Bardic Inspiration. It's the chance that you roll this up. But each creature within 30 feet of it. Ooh. Again, this is another reason why I'm like, I don't know that we should allow chance to be a counterbalance. You know what I mean? Like, Tale of the Brutes. Yeah, this is exactly free Thunderclap with a massive AoE. I mean, it works. It's all coded. If you use your action, this happens, it happens once, and then the thing ends. I actually think that this is pretty great. Even thunder damage is not a bad damage type to get. 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die. There's plenty of creatures that don't really just get knocked prone. And even if they're flying creatures, if they're a little bit higher than 30 feet, then this just isn't going to hit them. Massive AoE and it doesn't hit allies, you can sculpt this. So I'm going to say Tale of the Brute is at least going to be a purple. It is very strong. It can knock some stuff out of the air if they're within 30 feet of one of your buddies. If one of your buddies has fly and they get this on them, they can just start dropping the enemies. That's pretty cool. But I do think that the resource of Bardic Inspiration is a little cheap to be able to be throwing onto an effect like this. You're tying it into that. Sure, they're not getting the benefits of Bardic Inspiration, but these are all pretty nice effects. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more. There we go. These are all going to be pretty nice effects that I'm going to probably always be using over Bardic Inspiration. Yeah. Now, if you've got a lot of ranged allies, this might not be great. I'm going to say that that's probably blue, but the rest of this most often is going to be purple. Cool. Evocation Wizard who? Oh, yeah, because you can sculpt it. That's funny. Tail of the Dragon. The target spews fire from the mouth in a 30-foot cone. Cone, I think, is a little, it's a little hard to position more than anything else. Each creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw, taking fire damage equal to 4 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die on a failed save, because it's only doing the damage. Okay. This is fine. Yeah, this is all fine. And, oh, come on, work with me. Okay. One of you coding people out there needs to make a great Google Chrome highlighting plugin that I can customize, because all the ones I've found are super frustrating. It is a 30-foot cone. I actually think Tail the Dragon, it's just doing fire damage. Like, I think that this one might actually be blue. Sure, it's the most damage potential out of all the other ones, but all the other ones can also inflict a condition that always leads to more damage. Yeah, I would rather knock something prone than deal an additional die of damage to it. But, you know, that's there. Better use of an action than, say, Dragon's Breath? Maybe? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's doing more damage than the Dragon's Breath. I guess they're just throwing Dragon's Breath out there for free for people. Tail of the Angel. The target regains hit points equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier, and you win 1 condition on the following list. Is this just free? Like lesser? Is that Greater Restoration? Wait. Hold up here. Hang on a sec. Is that Greater Restoration or Lesser Restoration? Third for... chance you roll. Yeah, Benjamin, well, at least Ross said, this is, like, Tail of the Runaway is as good as I was thinking. That one's way too good. Okay, so it's not exactly Greater Restoration. Is it Lesser Restoration, then? Okay, so it's a freebie 2nd level spell. Blinded, Deafened, Paralyzed, or Poisoned. Blinded, Deafened, Paralyzed, or Poisoned. So you're getting a freebie Lesser Restoration, as well as 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier. This is just going to be better than casting Cure Wounds and... Great. What? I'm not sure how I feel about that. This is a freebie, at least like 2 2nd level spell slots at the cost of a Bardic Inspiration in there. They did throw Petrified in there. You're right. So, okay. I don't think that a Bardic Inspiration die should be... Okay, I'm really curious. Does Wizards of the Coast think that a use of Bardic Inspiration has the same power budget as 2 2nd level spell slots? Because that's not what we've been analyzing the game to do. Yeah, Benjamin and Ross are talking right now. I'm a big fan of using randomness to gate potentially powerful effects, but that's way too strong given the level and the resource cost. Yeah, this feature doesn't... Oh, he's talking about Spiritual Focus. Procs on Vicious Mockery and Healing Word, which feel like bread and butter spells for a bard. It also makes Vicious Mockery a bit more relevant. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they don't have a material component. I think we're kind of having the same... I don't know that either one of them are really watching this. I think we're kind of having the same discussion we were having in Discord. Tail of an Angel. For the 2 strongest healing spells at early levels of play. Sorry, we're having a discussion about it. Yeah, I think that Tale of the Angel is like, yeah, if this was on par with like a first level spell and then you let the Bardic Inspiration die, kind of let it scale up, then I'd be like, alright, but like no other class, I think maybe aside from like maybe Eloquence Bard, is able to get this much, maybe College of Creation, this much out of a Bardic Inspiration use. Like, I don't super mind this right here. This would be fine. This right here is better than Lesser Restoration. So, Tale of an Angel, the way I'm budgeting that is that this is slightly better than 2 second level spells. So, and you're doing them both at the exact same time. You do have to be high enough level to have a chance to roll this one, though. I mean, okay, that's the thing for me where I don't... Ross said that he doesn't mind randomness being used as a balancing measure. I always have this tug-of-war with, like, reliability versus power, you know, where I'm like, the randomness is there, but like aside from a high variance kind of a randomness, I think that like, it's hard for me to justify that. I completely agree with Itk Karen. Bardic Inspiration should be a first or second at most. Absolutely. No, I was thinking of something that you needed to go to adventure for, but now you have something that can kill for more. Not sure. Angel has to wait until the die becomes a D12? Oh! You're super right. You're super right. I had a misinterpretation about that. Okay. Okay. Yes, this 3 heavy, this is like one of the clunkiest third level features I've ever seen. Straight up. This does scale with you. So you're going to get these first 6 features that you can get, right? Tale of the Runaway does not need to be even accessible to a third level bard. Period. This is 6 free uses. This is 6 Misty Steps. It has to be used immediately, but that's realistically what this is. You know? This is... Oh, God. Yeah, Tale of the Runaway and Tale of the Angel are the 2 that I'm genuinely worried about. And, guys, these are my ratings on these, assuming up to this point that these were all accessible to you at 3rd level. I still think that Tale of the Angel, even the fact that, like, maybe because this is tied to... tied behind, what is that, 17th level? No, 15th level. Okay. 17th level for Song of Rest. Maybe that's fair. Is it class from Umbrella Academy? I worry about that one. I do. I guess at that point, yes, your Bardic Inspiration is a D12, 6.5 that it can apply to an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw against you expending the Bardic Inspiration die to do 2d12 plus your Charisma modifier, hit point regeneration, out to a range of 60 feet, right? 30 feet. Okay, that's still really good. That's still really, really damn good. I'm very worried about Tale of the Angel. I'm going to mark that one as gray. But let's move on because we barely really touched this. What we're going to do today. Klaus is a great character. Klaus is a great character. I don't know that College of Spirits Bard is totally supposed to be Klaus. I mean, I guess you are talking to spirits, right? Like, yeah, if you could manifest them, that'd be a whole other thing. Okay, Tale of the Mindbender. You evoke an incomprehensible fable from an otherworldly being. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or take psychic damage equal to 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die and be stunned until the end of its next turn. This is tied to 15th level, and Monk has been doing this for 10 levels already. So I think that this is actually okay. It is tied to the intelligence saving throw, and it's a save or suck. Right? Tail of the Mindbender is fine. And it's only the one creature. Yeah, this is going to be tied to 15th level. This is fine. But, so, looking at the table, Tail of the Angel is restricted to 15th level. So, yeah. I guess I don't mind that super much. It's still, I do think that this is a little bit overpowered. This is two, at least, better than second level spell slots that are going to come back to you on a short or long rest. And it's going to be more reliable thanks to their 14th level feature. Tail of the Runaway, man, if you just completely clip the second sentence, I would think that this is going to be fine. But that's actually more reliable than what I was thinking about, because... wait, what just happened there? Clear. Yeah. 16.6% chance that you're going to hit Tail of the Runaway. Yeah. Heavy. Let me know what you think. Because... oh, man. I do really worry about that. They are random, but like the effects that you're getting on here are generally what I would think would be the power budget of like a second level spell slot, and I don't think that a use of Bardic Inspiration equates to a second level spell slot. This comes back to you on a short rest, and here at third level you just got your second level spells. Temporary hit points equal to, yeah, I mean, like, even Tail of the Traveler, this is a lot that you're getting instead of Bardic Inspiration. A lot that you're getting. Sure, these temporary hit points can always get knocked off, but yeah. Yeah, hey, what's going on, Marcello? So, this is, yes, like I said, this is random. It is going to expend the use of your Bardic Inspiration, but your Bardic Inspiration is going to come back to you on a short or long rest eventually. I think it's like, what, 5th level? Yeah, short or long rest with Fonts of Inspiration. So, ignoring the text of the individual effects, I just don't like that this is a slot machine. Yeah, random effects tables, like, it's unreliable, and I don't really like that as a balancing measure, but that's just me as a designer. Generally though, these effects are all going to be very good, very strong for you to use. I genuinely worry about some of them though. I'm leaning more towards this actually being purple than gray. But yeah, Tail of the Runaway and Tail of the Angel are seriously strong. So here at 6th level, not only do you get the Spirit Session, but you also get the actually weaker portion of Spiritual Focus. This is here, I guess. Let me see. Wait, Benjamin and Ross responded. Okay. I'm not looking at the rules in D&D Beyond, and there's no indication that you can't use it on spells without M. So, would you... is that really the main... I always thought that was kind of the reason why you pick Arcane Focuses. Are there any detrimental ones to balance out these immensely powerful effects? Is the explicit permission on how to use a focus instead of M relevant to meeting the requirements? Yeah, then I've been misunderstanding that. I'm trying to find... okay, so they are... Benjamin and Ross are trying to find some rules clarification on what's going on with the Arcane Focus. Because I've never had to think of that before. Like swap in the blades from Tales of Beyond feature? Let me get back to you on that. Have you earned... you feel that you basically, most of the time, you're basically playing a constant bonus action tax to try and hit the thing you want. Yeah, well, I feel like for every other bard, Bardic Inspiration just is not as strong as what you're doing with Tales from Beyond. Maybe except for, like, Eloquence, you know? These effects are basically free spells. Like, yeah. Is this the bard that works in the History Channel at 2 a.m.? The random effect table gave me an idea. Wild Magic Bard. It's so fitting for the performance class. Yeah, this is basically what this is. It's Wild Magic Bard. Only it doesn't have the downsides of Wild Magic Surge Sorcerer. So, okay, let's move on. So, Spirit Session. 6th level College of Spirits feature. Spirits provide you with supernatural insights. You can conduct an hour-long ritual channeling spirits, which can be done during a short or long rest, using your spiritual focus. Let's do that. You can conduct this ritual with a number of willing creatures equal to your proficiency bonus, including yourself. At the end of the ritual, you'll temporarily learn one spell of your choice from any class. Alright, so this is the means in which the focus is supposed to be implemented. Hang on, I gotta copy paste this and show the guys. Here's why they wrote that. Okay. Focus can relace the M and S components if the spell has an M component that doesn't have a gold cost. I've never heard it. I've never heard it replacing somatic components, because otherwise, I think paralysis would be a pretty bad counter to spellcasters. I mean, you still have to be able to access your focus. I love the idea of forcing your cleric to perform a death ritual. Oh. Okay. Okay. So it's a level of number of creatures that conducted the ritual or less. I do like that. I think that's a cool flavor win right there. The spell must be of a level you can cast, and it must be, in the school of divination or necromancy. The chosen spell counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of bard spells you know. Once you perform the ritual, you can't do so again until you start a long rest, and you know the chosen spell until you start a long rest. Okay, so it was a big level 3. All right. This number of willing creatures, I actually kind of like that for narrative. Only this means that you're going to be significantly better in a large party, right? But I guess you can always say, like, yeah, Beastmaster Ranger or the wizard can conjure some creatures up, right? And it's not a big deal. But we're talking about a max of 6th level, right? You can learn one 6th level or lower spell. That you kind of need to have this, because otherwise this feels like a big nothing burger. You can conduct a ritual with a number of creatures. This is cool flavor. I like this, right? I actually think that this is kind of cool for like what ritual magic could be. I'm pretty alright with that. What does it accomplish other than punish low-man solo adventures? I mean, if you go and recruit some NPCs, you know, sure, they're not going to be down in the dungeon with you, but there's a thought, you know. Plus, as Bard, you can always snag, like, one of the conjuration spells. Conjure the creatures, have them, you know, help you out in this ritual. Wait, it's an hour long. Is this really going to be that cluttered, where, like, you've gotta come up with a conjuration spell, make it last over an hour, and then do the ritual? Oh god, that's kind of messy. Ritual or less. So, but the way that I'm looking at this, let's just say, right, we're kind of expecting that. This is all kind of reeling back in the power of it. Okay, so it has to be divination or necromancy. Well, but there's some really damn good spells in both of those, alright? This is a restriction. But it's not a really terrible restriction. You just can't go and grab your evocation blaster stuff. The chosen spell counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of bard spells you know. Yeah, you're conducting a seance, we'll say. How does willing creatures work for summon/familiars? It would technically be a willing creature, as long as it's under your control or one of your allies' controls. Use a spirit session to grab animate dead, then use your zombies in another spirit session, right? Right? That would work. That would work. Did they want to do that to prevent this bard from just getting animate dead? Was that the mean? Like, you know it. Wait, that would mean that you know it. You're not restricted by the number of times that you can cast it. You can cast animate dead a few times with this bard. Okay. Oh, this is like... It's like also making you a really strong magical secrets bard, but not as bad as lore. Okay. You can't do it again until you finish a short or long rest. I think that this feature is generally okay. 6th level, so you're casting... we're talking third level spells, about to hit 4th level spells. They really did this so that you would be able to get animate dead, right? Get necromancy, you can go pick up animate dead, or summon undead, or whatever. There's a lot of really strong spells around this area. Now you can just pick it up, get it to your spell list. I think that this is pretty okay. Yes, it could, as Heavy was saying in chat, it could punish lower level parties, but you being able to go pick up a necromancy spell with this and get animate dead means that you can now put your zombies into this, and it's actually a little bit more reliable because that spell exists. Yeah, this is... I actually think Spirit Session is really good, really strong. It's just a very unconventional design, even though I do like this idea. You can conduct a ritual with a number of willing creatures equal to your proficiency bonus, including yourself, and then, like, it feels like it adds a bit of flavor to what a ritual should really be, you know? It defines the ritual a little bit more. I actually do like this. No, because Finger of Death is a 7th level spell, and you can't, oh wait. Okay, yes, you could eventually get Finger of Death. Because that's a 7th level spell, right? You can get up to a 7th level spell with this. Let's do the capstone, and then we'll go take a look at the Undead Warlock. Mystical Connection, 14th level College of Spirits feature. You now have the ability to nudge the spirits of Tales from Beyond towards certain tales. Whenever you roll on the Spirit Tales table, you can roll the dice twice and choose which of the 2 effects to bestow. That makes it a lot more reliable. If you roll the same number on the dice, you can ignore and choose any of the effect on the table. Very similar to what we've seen in the Magic Surge other shit. Yeah. Okay. Mystical Connection is... Okay. Until the Runaway, until the Angel, I'm very, very worried about. Those are very strong effects if we're trying to do any sort of like comparative analysis to like spell slot power. Compared to what other bards can do with Bardic Inspiration, this is absolutely absurd. There's so much power that's coming out from this one. You are replacing the use of Bardic Inspiration. Wait, this needs to cost something else too. Bonus action to expend the use of your Bardic Inspiration and roll. The randomness is there to try and reel it back. Oh. The idea is interesting, but the TLDR here is that you get an adjustable magical secrets. Yeah, that's realistically what we're talking about. I feel it'd be cooler on pretty much any other caster than Bard, because Bards already gets magical secrets, and more specifically, Lord Bard already gets an AdMat. Yeah, it's like, it's just an alternative, flexible... Wait, this is even more flexible than Lord Bard. Because even though it's only one spell, you can do this again at the end of a long rest and choose a different spell. So... yeah, no, the most... well, okay, so equal to your proficiency bonus, including yourself. It says you can conduct this ritual with a number of creatures equal to your proficiency bonus, including yourself. I don't know why I put that in green. That should actually be yellow. That's mechanical text. To me, that reads that eventually. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100% heavy. To me, it reads like this can be used for up to a 9th level, or sorry, up to a 7th level spell. This, including your self text, it's either going to be that you can pick a 6th level spell at a certain level, or that you can pick a here starting out now, so a 3rd level spell or lower. You're usually always going to get Animate Dead with this, because that's just going to help this feature out even more and more. I don't know if this is just a way to give you Animate Dead, but I think that you're going to take that with Magical Secrets as this bard anyways. So, but Spirit Session overall, yes, this is just flexible Magical Secrets, an additional spell slot, an additional spell that you can get. Yeah. So, if we're talking artistically, right? If we're talking about artistically, what is this doing to evoke this idea that you're a bit of a seance bard? I don't know that it's really scratching that itch, you know? I think the closest that we get is kind of in the Spirit Session, right? I like this ritual idea, but even more so, it's just kind of... Yeah? This is just a wild magic table with the... It's a bit different than a wild magic table. Sure, it scales up in terms of you get access to more features. But man, yeah. I'm a little bit worried about College of Spirits. I think it could get reeled back and it would be just fine. But there's a lot of stuff that needs to get... I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to get clarified, so start adding Jeremy Crawford and Dan Dillon over on Twitter. Anyways, so let's move on from that. The one that I'm really interested in, really interested in, is the Undead Warlock. I don't know what they've changed since I saw the UA, but I remember really liking the UA. Because instead of going with the kind of Lich Lord sort of feel, it almost went towards a more like incorporeal undead kind of a feel. So, yeah, let's see what they got for us. The Undead. You made a pact with a deathless being, a creature that defies the cycle of life and death, forsaking its mortal shell so it might eternally pursue its unfathomable ambitions. For such beings, time and morality are fleeting things, the concern of those for whom grains of sand still rush through life's hourglass. Having once been mortal themselves, these ancient undead know firsthand the paths of ambition and the routes past the doors of death. They eagerly share this profane knowledge along with other secrets with those who work their will among the living. God, I don't know why that was so hard to read. Among these beings are Asarak, Kaz, the Githyanki Lich Queen Valakith. Okay. What? That's a thing? That's alright. The Dracolich Dragatha and the Undead Pharaoh Ankhtopot. Octopod? I'm probably saying that wrong and offending somebody. And the elusive Dark Lord Azalin Rex. So, hey, what's up, Fool's Idol? Expanded spell list. False Life. Okay, how many warlocks have we seen that have gotten False Life? Yeah, there's another one. No. I feel like we've seen False Life a lot. Have we not? Wow, for some reason I felt like False Life was appearing a lot on different warlocks. Okay. False Life gets you 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points for the duration. Honestly, like on a warlock, why would you take False Life over Armor of Agathis? Like, you're bolstering yourself with this. So, 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points, 2.5 temporary hit point, 2.5, so 6.5 temporary hit points, or you take Armor of Agathis, which scales up very well with you. And yeah, I don't know why you would take this over Armor of Agathis, honestly. I don't know, someone let me know why. Bane, overall, great debuff. Wait, I forget, is Bane, no, Bane's competing for your concentration with Hex. I might take Bane at later levels, because it's applying to attack rolls and saving throws and not just ability checks. It does make a nice little like complement to Hex, right? But it competing for your concentration is something that I'm going to immediately think like Bane is. It's 3 creatures. Yeah, I think the Bane is actually going to be pretty alright. I might actually take Bane, depending on my build. If I don't go with like an Eldritch Blaster Warlock, I'm gonna take this over Hex. I'm gonna take that over Hex. Which I'm all here for, you know, whatever. If you want to go against the core loop of Warlock, go for it. False Life is an invocation, isn't it? So all of them have it? Oh, okay. Yeah, Armor of Agathis is just so much better. I don't feel like there's any reason for me to pick up False Life whenever that's in the game. Blindness, Deafness, situationally strong. I do like that overall. Phantasmal Force. I'm trying to remember what I thought about Phantasmal Force. You read so many damn spells in this game. Oh, okay, I gave it purple. It will compete with it, that's right. I just read this spell and I'm already like forgetting some of this stuff. Hang on. That's right, because it's not tied into Frightened or Charmed, right? Yeah, okay. Choice in the 10-foot cube. That's right, okay. They do kind of compete with each other. Wait, do they? No, well, I mean, Blindness Deafness doesn't require your concentration, so I'm mostly okay with that. And it's going to continue to just scale up, like, yeah. Phantasmal Force. It's a great illusion spell for 2nd level. Especially if we're going with a Hexless kind of a build for this Warlock. I do think that could be a pretty fantastic use. Phantom Steed is pretty alright. I guess to make your Nightmare Horse, sure. Speak with Dead. I have seen Speak with Dead just totally throw a loop in campaigns. I love this spell. Yes, this is such a great out of combat spell, and it always seems like no matter what, you get some kind of useful information out of Speak with Dead. That's pretty subjective opinion there, but yeah, I think that this is actually a pretty fantastic spell, especially for a Warlock. False Life feels completely redundant alongside the 1st level feature. As a bonus action, you can transform for 1. Oh, we'll get in there. We'll get there. I'm leaning towards yes. Death Ward. Yes. Notice, this is an 8-hour duration on this spell, on a Warlock that regains their spell slots on a short or long rest. Yes, this is already a really great spell. Put it on a Warlock, oh my god, even better. Greater Invisibility. Odd choice for this Warlock? I guess the Incorporeal Undead is the flavor right there. I mean, but it's an amazing spell. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be purple. Anti-Life Shell. Huh. Okay. So, Anti-Life Shell. I haven't really talked about this spell much. Really, because... yeah. A shimmering barrier extends out from you in a 10-foot radius and moves with you, remaining centered on you, and hedging out creatures and other than undead and constructs. The barrier lasts for the duration. The barrier prevents an affected creature from passing through or reaching through. An affected creature can cast spells or make attacks with ranged or reach weapons through the barrier. If you move so that an affected creature is forced to pass through the barrier, the spell ends. So, okay. Is this really worth it? It's protective, right? You can cast this, bam, this is up for an hour. It's going to require your concentration, but like, I mean, ranged or reach weapons can reach through the barrier. So, short rest refresh. Again, not thinking about a hex build, because I think with Bane, we're kind of moving away from this idea of an Eldritch Blaster with this. Unless I see something that, oh, okay, never mind. Shimmering Barrier extends out from you. I think this is a pretty decent defensive option overall. Anti-Life Shell feels like an interesting boss to player kind of a spell. Similar to Contagion, right? I don't think it's a bad player spell. It's, I don't know, it competing with your concentration, it can possibly end pretty easily if someone shoots you with an arrow. It feels alright. It feels alright. I don't know that you're going to be casting this all the time, but yeah. Cloud Kill. Okay. Of course. Cloud Kill has so much damaging potential, even though it deals a weak damage type. It moves, I remember right. Yeah, 10 feet away from you. There's some ways that you can really screw with this spell. And the way that the positioning of it works, yes, it deals 5d8 poison damage. Very, very weak. You being able to cast this multiple times on a short rest, I actually think that Cloud Kill is pretty damn good. It's a fairly large area, 20-foot radius sphere. If you can figure out a way for you to like be able to get around this area all the time, and it's just going to automatically move away from you, I think that this is actually a pretty decent spell overall. Can really counter on a case-by-case basis. Warlocks have a lot more spells known than spell slots. Situation spells tend to be much better on them. I can kind of agree with that. I find it odd that two of the spells on this list, False Life and Speak with Dead, are also at-will invocations. That is a curious design choice. Are they... I keep forgetting if those are Player's Handbook or Tasha's at-will. I think those are Player's Handbook. Yeah, Fiendish Vigor. But that's only as a first level spell. This would at least make it to where you could scale it up. So that's the main difference there. You can cast it on yourself at will as a first level spell, and it is requiring your action to do so. So I think the reason why they add it to the spell list is so that you can cast it up, but like, you just grab Armor of Agathis. Trust me on this. You're going to be much, much happier. Don't mess with False Life. Form of Dread. So, alright, first level Undead feature. You manifest an aspect of your patron's dreadful power. As a bonus action, you can transform for 1 minute. You gain the following benefits while transformed. Let's just do all that. Okay, you gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your Warlock level. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a Wisdom saving throw, and if it fails, it's frightened of you until the end of your next turn. That can fall off a little bit later on. Here at the early levels, this is... you are immune to the frightened condition. Oh boy. Oh boy. You can transform a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus when you finish a long rest. Okay. Ooh. I don't remember that. Was it completely unchanged? I don't know that I remember the immunity of the frightened condition in there. It's only for a minute. It is only for a minute, but realistically, in a D&D campaign, how many combats are happening in between a long rest? Like, I would say at max, like, 4. 4. Immune to the frightened condition. Yeah. Ooh. Oath of Conquest Paladin just found their new best buddy. Ooh. The proficiency bonus for long rest. Okay. It has to be that way. It has to be that way. I don't like the fact that this is what they're going with on so many warlocks. A common question I've gotten is, how do I feel mechanically about proficiency bonus scaling? I like it on racial traits and on, like, definitely not on warlocks at first level. This just makes them such a good multi-class duo. That's a nice snag right there. And that's without going any further. The rest of this is just fluff. I like that they're emphasizing some mummies. I'm all about some mummy presence here. You're immune to the frightened condition in this form. Alright, so hey, all you designers out there, our power budget that we can play with just got, well, I guess since Tasha's, you can say, we know, we've confirmed now over 2 books. This is where they're going. Is my Spotify playing not working? Mistrust by Die Van Burt. I'll just copy you the link instead of trying to even pronounce that. Alright, cool. Let me get that in chat. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and actually, I don't need to do spooky music anymore. I don't want to trigger the copyright stuff. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Okay. What did Benjamin Ross say? Divination spells will be some necromancy spells. Mind Spike is divination. I feel like it has to be a case when you use the spellcasting focus on all spells. Otherwise, magical spellcasting focuses get significantly worse. Plus, more importantly, shorter track. Yeah, I think for the sake of the game being I think for the sake of the game being a little bit more easy to comprehend, it needs to be able to apply to. It needs to be able to be interpreted in a way that favors the players the most. We'll say that. See an Undead Warlock. I'm Batman. Form of Dread is clearly a magical girl transformation. Oh my god, that's too good. Oh my god, that's amazing. Now, you know, that's so damn funny. Oh my god. You know, I used to always suggest to people, like, hey, you want to play Sailor Moon? Go roll up a Divine Soul Sorcerer, right? That's too damn funny. Oh, man. Okay, so the 1d10 plus your Warlock level max of... Okay, let's just talk average. 2.5 plus 1 all the way up to 10, so... the range is going to be 6.5 all the way up to 26.5, or 25.5. There we go. Now, once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a Wisdom saving throw. That's going to work pretty well with Eldritch Blast, right? Or at least somewhat decent. It actually works very, very well with Bane, because you can subtract the saving throw, so there's a chance you can possibly make it frightened of you, get it off your case. Yeah. I mean, it's pushing you more towards not going Hexlock, So yeah, I'll incentivize, or I'll praise them for that. That works with Chill Touch. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, yeah, it works with Chill Touch. So you can Bane, Chill Touch, do this, bam, and it makes Chill Touch even cooler. Okay. I still don't know whether or not it's going to make you... I don't think that this incentivizes you from going into Eldritch Blast, but yeah, that's there. Listen, man, Sailor Moon is never scared for a reason. One thing, this does have a kind of spawn flavor, right? One nice thing is that the temporary hit points aren't tied into how long the ability lasts. No, yeah, it is. While transformed. So yeah, they are still there. At least from my interpretation of that. It's a Grave Touch. 6th level undead feature. Your patron's powers have a profound effect on your body and magic. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. Wow. Alright, so you not needing to breathe is the biggest, most impactful part of that. The rest of that, survival heavy campaigns, now you're just already kind of not tracking something that a lot of people think is a annoying thing to track. I personally love it, but in addition, once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll and roll damage against the creature, you can replace the damage type with necrotic damage. Okay. That's only once during your turn. But that does affect Eldritch Blast, that you can make into necrotic damage, and you can do 2d10 with one of those blasts with Eldritch Blast. It is a damage type that's weaker than Force, alright? It's a little bit weaker than Force, but I think that there's enough of a little boost up with that, like, you replace that one damage type, and you know that the creature's not, whatever. Are you really going to be blasting a bunch of zombies with necrotic damage? Probably not. So, Grave Touched. That's actually a really great boost right there. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You not needing to breathe that's just a great thing. You're no longer going to suffocate. You can just go literally sit on the bottom of a lake. Like, but also in dungeons where there's like poison gas traps, some spell effects, you don't need to breathe this. That's actually pretty great. That's a nice bump right there. Give me out an invocation that can change the damage type of Eldritch Blast. I think that if they go with a... if Wizards of the Coast is going to make like a elemental or a primordial elemental kind of a patron, then that's most likely going to be the flavor that we see them go with. Is you can change your spell damage from one type to, like, if it deals force, fire, cold, lightning, or what, thunder, bludgeoning, sure. If it deals one of those damage types, then you can change it to fire, cold, lightning, or bludgeoning, acid. I don't know. What are we going with on that? But Grave Touch, Purple, great feature. I'm surprised actually they didn't give you resistance to necrotic damage right there. Oh, because they do it at 10th level. That's actually a little bit late than what we're used to seeing on a lot of class scaffolding. We're used to seeing necrotic damage given at a damage resistance given at 6th level. If you look at like Forged, Cleric, right? Hey, thanks for being here, Heavy. I really appreciate it, man. If we're looking at conventional scaffolding for what a lot of other classes get, you're used to seeing the defensive resistance option given to you at 6th level. This given to you here at 10th is actually a little bit late, which I think you could have moved the resistance to necrotic damage down to 6th level. That's a bump, but that's not all that significant to every single combat encounter. It does come into play in enough that I think that it should be a purple, but like, I still think you could have given them this resistance to necrotic damage at 6th level, and it would have been pretty alright, especially in a game after Tasha's. If you're transformed using your form of dread, you instead become immune to necrotic damage. Alright, That's great. That is great. Again, I think that this could have been moved down to 6th level, and then this could have just been a nice perk right here. In addition, when you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to drop to 1 hit point instead and cause your body to erupt with deathly energy. Right, so this is good, but like, I don't know how often really you dying comes into play, you know? I understand that's situational, but that is a decent effect. But you also cause this death burst. Let's get all that. Oh, we'll see Landry. Oh wait, no, you're saying bye to heavy. Ignore me. Never mind. Each creature of your choice that is within 30 feet of you takes necrotic damage equal to 2d10 plus your warlock level. You then gain 1 level of exhaustion. Okay. Oh god, not terrible at 10th. You do have ways to overcome it. Oh god. Once you use this reaction, you can't use it again until you finish 1d4 long rests? That's pretty weak. Okay, so this is a harsh detriment right here. This is a way harsh detriment. There are ways that you can overcome this, especially at this level. You know, other characters are going to have their greater restoration and all that other stuff. You can get rid of it, take a nap, all that stuff. But you're only dropping to 1 hit point. You're only dropping to 1 hit point and then you burst like this? When you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to drop to 1 hit point instead. So you have to... This is actually... How is this going to get negotiated in the game? I think that this is kind of okay. I would not do that trade for a level of exhaustion. I mean, for not dying? Sure, I guess. When you... Okay. Yeah, you can just use the parrish instead and not use the reaction. Sure. This is an option, right? It is a benefit. You can take a level of exhaustion and not die. I would rather take that because that's guaranteed. Your cleric getting access to you before you straight up, like, die, that's not guaranteed. When you're reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to drop to 1 hit point instead. Creature of your choice is within 30 feet of you. Honestly, the thing that worries me with this is that multi-attack is a thing. Like, you go up against a creature that has multi-attack, let's say its first attack downs you, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to use my reaction to drop to 1 hit point instead, and cause my body to just, like, erupt with, yeah. If it had some kind of a defense in there, to where you can use your reaction to drop to 1 hit point, and that creature can't target you until the end of its turn, maybe? Because, like, right now, if you drop to 1 hit point, why can't that thing just swipe at you? And then you're going to have a level of exhaustion and you're dead. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is preventing you from death. It is somewhat defensive. I think that Necrotic Husk might just be blue. This is all nice up here, right? You get resistance to necrotic damage. I would have much rather have seen this given to you at 6th level. This bump right here remaining. And then maybe some kind of a nice little shield, right? Maybe you gain temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt. Or half the damage dealt, and you also gain damage equal to the roll. Something like that. Also, don't you get anti-life shell, so this feature is redundant? How do you mean? I'm curious. Yeah, I don't think that the damage is worth that happening. Okay, this first part, this is all fine up here, right? If it was just this in addition section of it right here, I would actually think that this is probably orange. Let me just do that. You guys know that these are all pretty decent effects, right? If it does happen, you can do this reaction. I'm curious if that's better than dying. Like, because I mean, if you drop to that 1 hit point and you're just standing there or whatever, and you do this damage, each creature of your choice, bam, you're still standing there with 1 hit point and 1 level of exhaustion. So, yeah, if that thing has multi-attack, and it doesn't die from this damage, then it's just going to hit you again and kill you. I actually think this is actually pretty weak. Oh, you're good, you're good. Yeah, I think that actually overall that's actually pretty bad. But I don't know. Someone tell me how else that's good. Yes, you are preventing death, but I don't think in a very good way. Spirit projection. 14th level undead feature. Your spirit can become untethered from your physical form. As an action, you can project your spirit from your body. The body you leave behind is unconscious and in a state of suspended animation. Okay. Your spirit resembles your mortal form in almost every way, replicating your game statistics but not your possessions. Any damage or other effects that apply to your spirit or physical body affects the other. Your spirit can remain outside your body for up to 1 hour or until your concentration is broken, as if concentrating on a spell. When your projection ends, your spirit returns to your body, or your body magically teleports to your spirit's space. Okay? We're going to do all that. While projecting your spirit, you gain the following benefits. Your spirit and body gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage on top of you having resistance to necrotic damage. When you cast a spell of the Conjuration or Necromancy school, the spell doesn't require verbal or somatic components, or material components that lack a gold cost. Okay. This is good. It's good. It's a little restrictive. I mean, Conjuration, though. So, summon undead? You don't have to have that 300 gold piece skull? Or no, wait, that lack of gold cost. Never mind, I'm a dumb. Okay. You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. You can move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. There we go. There we go. You gotta have something like that. So Incorporeal Movement. This is what's required to make ghost characters work. You gotta get something like this. I'm a little bit let down, but I'm not surprised that Wizards of the Coast thinks that this is so good that you have to tie it to 14th level. Incorporeal Movement is scary good on a player. I'm still trying to figure out how to keep it in check. While you're using your form of dread, once during each of your turns, when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you regain hit points equal to half the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Oh, I just had a spider on my leg. What the heck? I don't know what that was. Alright. While you're using your form of dread, once during each of your turns, is it Bag of Rats? Not really. It's frustrating to use, but it's only 1 hour. It's at 14th level. I mean, okay, hang on. You can do necrotic damage as a cantrip. Once during each of your turns, when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you regain hit points equal to half. Okay. Bag of Rats. Right? Sure, it's diminishing returns on the damage that you deal, but it is still Bag of Rats. It is 1 hour. I don't really mind it. I don't super mind it, but that is technically an exploit. So I am going to mark that in gray. Once you use it, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. There's better ways for you to heal up at 14th level than this right here, but that is not super great. Again, diminishing returns, yada yada, but I don't really mind Spirit Projection overall. If I was designing it, I think this hits the notes, right? But like, if I was to make some suggestions to what I would change, this needs to have something to help keep you protected from creatures with multi-attack. This resistance to necrotic damage could get brought down to 6th level, and I would feel totally fine. The immunity to necrotic damage while you're in your form of dread, totally fine at 10th level. That's okay. This right here, if they were temporary hit points, I'd be fine with this. I'd be super fine with that if it was just temporary hit points. Yeah. Let me see here. Do you think a legendary monster could go toe-to-toe with a 20th level party made up of 3 characters? It depends on the monster. Yeah, and the character builds. I don't know. Saying legendary monster, do you mean something over like CR20? Maybe not toe-to-toe, but the battle would definitely be challenging. Yeah, explain what you mean by legendary monster. Most conjuration requires concentration, and therefore can't be used well. Oh. Yep, you're right. Ooh, that's actually really weak. Yeah, you can't summon undead. Wait, so what does that apply to? I'll have to look at that. I actually think that might be pretty weak. Sure, there's other things that you can bring in with all that, but like, oh yeah, Vampiric Touch is concentration. It is, yeah, I don't know how much has necessarily changed from the Unearthed Arcana. I can do that comparison. What I remember being pretty excited about this, and I think that this is okay. I think that it's okay. I think that this needs to get a little bit of a change. Like, maybe you get temporary hit points back equal to half the necrotic damage dealt. That'd be fine. You could even do, like, maybe in Necrotic Husk, oh god, maybe like whenever you do... Okay, if this was temporary hit points, I think that this would be fine. And the diminishing returns, this is going to be annoying more than anything else to like have your characters do the bag of rats thing. Yeah. Even at 14th level, sure, there's other ways that you can do that, but like, yeah. What else? Everything else in here I feel like is totally fine. I feel like I could scrap this or just make it temporary hit points, and I'd be super okay with that. Allow this to where, like, maybe you're under the effects of Sanctuary or something. I don't know. You can't be targeted by a creature that takes this damage until the start of your next turn, or the end of your next turn. Necrotic could get moved down to here, and that'd be fine. And then Form of Dread, I actually feel like this is pretty okay. You're immune to the Frightened condition is huge. Huge, huge. I don't think that it should scale off a proficiency bonus, but hey, that's the way 5e is moving. Either, I guess we gotta move with it. Cool. So, my opinions on this, if I was to give both of these a rating, I actually think that the College of Spirits Bard is pushing overpowered. More so because it's just getting way, way too much out of a Bardic Inspiration die use. This Undead Warlock, the 14th level feature is a bit exploitable. I think that I'm just going to say that the Undead Warlock is likely going to be... I'm going to say an A for right now. Man, the first few features are really, really good. That Necrotic Husk, though, is like just kind of blah. I do think all the other features probably carry it up into S. But I don't really know what that Warlock is doing playstyle-wise that isn't just, I'm the temporary hit point Warlock. You know what I mean? This boom right here, this needs to get reworked. It should. Yeah, I think it needs something to help protect you just a little bit more here. Maybe if, as a part of this, like, whenever you deal necrotic damage, you gain temporary, you can choose to gain temporary hit points equal to, like 1d, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the chat. But for right now, it is what? I've been going at this for 2 hours. I can do another hour. See what's going on. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to hear? Oh, we didn't talk about the races. We need to talk about races. Bard needs more stable features instead of being super random and time consuming. The Warlock later features is really trash. I think it does fall off a little bit after 10th level. That 14th level feature, like, even though it does have, you know, chill touch being a little unreasonable, you can do that a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Are you just going to be using that to pop it and heal? Like, you know, I'm worried. Yep, Undead Warlock's best used to 1 level dip, because that immunity to frightened condition, if you just turn into the ghost, that's real strong, guys. That's real strong. Sign your petition to bring Necrotic Husk to a green feature. It's weak. It's weak. The concentration stipulation does hurt. Yes. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. What good conjuration spell doesn't require concentration? Death? Is that what? Death touch? Skull? Hand? Finger of death? Maybe? No, that's not conjuration. I don't know. Hey Phil, what's going on, man? We are about to start looking at lineages. No, wait. Is it the lineages in there? Did we get actual... Okay, Unearthed Arcana. So, it looks like these are going to just be lineages? Okay, yeah. So, what were my big worries initially? And I haven't... you guys are getting me with very little exposure to what has been changed since the Unearthed Arcana. But I do remember a lot of, like, what my hiccups were with this, right? My big gripes that I had against the Unearthed Arcana version of the lineages was Reborn was just kind of lacking flavor. The Dampier, the Bite was just super clunky. Yeah, they didn't really need to group all these together. Yeah. The Dampier was really clunky with its Bite. It also got Spider Climb. And Spider Climb, the way that we see that is that as an at-will 2nd level spell. It's not just a climbing speed, this is straight up, you can creepy exorcism hang from ceilings, which is great for flavor, right? For an undead. Even tying that behind 3rd level, at-will Spider Climb, I look at that is flight indoors. The mechanical implication of flight, and why that is so good, is what that means is as long as you have the ability to fly, then you are straight up immune to melee weapon attacks, melee spell attacks, whatever. You cannot be targeted with melee attacks because you are always going to be out of range. So that is a very strong defensive feature. It has tons of utility. Yeah, Spider Climb is the inverse of that, where all the same mechanical things that happen with flight happen indoors. So instead of you being outdoors and flight being that strong, now Spider Climb is that good indoors. So I'm worried because I've heard that they kept that. Yep, they did. Okay. Alright. So I'm worried about Dampier. we've read all this stuff. We're just going to kind of compare it to what I remember being in the Unearthed Arcana. They put a lot of thought into all the random quirks and stuff. Okay, you're humanoid, so they're not... Are they not going with the dual type? Because... creature type. Okay, so you are going to just be a humanoid? Okay. Well, sure, but not all. I mean, most indoor situations except for houses, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's start this out. You're a humanoid, you're medium or small, you choose this size when you gain this lineage. Your walking speed is 30 feet. Great. Of course, more walking speed. Both of these have their upsides and downsides. This is... yeah. Humanoid, okay. The game is kind of designed around the players being humanoids. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Ancestral Legacy, if you replace a race with its lineage, you can keep the following elements of that race, any skill proficiencies you gain from it, and any climbing, flying, or swimming speed you gain from it? What? So you get all this in addition to a base race? Okay, so you get proficiency with 2 skills of your choice, or any skill proficiencies you gained, as well as any climbing, flying, or swimming speed you gained from it? What? Alright, so how is this... how is this any different than a prestige class? How is this any different than a prestige class? I don't have a problem with prestige classes because you're getting that as you level up. That makes a lineage not a race, I guess? So wait, if you... let's just say, here I am at first level. What's any different from me saying, you know what, I want to be an Aarakocra that got turned into a Dhampir, give me 50 feet of flying speed, everything I got from the Aarakocra, well, yeah, let me get Aarakocra, and then I'm just going to go with the Dhampir for, yeah, see, exactly, first thoughts in chat, Aarakocra, Dhampir. I don't like this. Come on. This is that illusion of choice thing. Raw, you either pick race or lineage. Yeah, me as a DM, this is a hot pass for me. Yeah, I'm not about that. Dark vision, cool. We all know dark vision, good. Deathless nature, you don't need to breathe. Good. Spider climb, very, very, very worried about this. Mostly because I think that this is effectively just like, okay. I'm gonna keep it purple. But this is, oh man, this is worrisome. Oh, they do the scaling at 3rd level. Okay, so you get the climbing speed, and then at 3rd level, you can just do that a lot. Okay. Somebody justify. Somebody talk me out of that being gray, because it's an at-will 2nd level spell to me. Just at will. Like, yeah. Yeah. Vampiric Bite. Your Fang Bite is a natural weapon, which counts as a simple melee weapon with which you are proficient. You add your Constitution modifier and set a Strength modifier to the attack and damage rolls. When you attack with this weapon, it deals 1d4 piercing damage on a hit. While you're missing half or more of your hit points, you have advantage on attack rolls you make with this bite. That's a situational advantage. I think Barbarian could get some love out of that, which is kind of cool. Especially after watching all of Castlevania, I'm kind of down for some barbarian vampires. Hey, glad to know you all are on my side here. I try to be real. I try to be real lenient with exciting new stuff because I think that a lot of people criticize my analysis for thinking that I'm just trying to crap on Wizards of the Coast. I'm not. I just want stuff that's going to be like not overshining everybody else at the table. People asked if you get penalized unconscious or if you had your speed. You do not. I said I had quite a number of bugs and what? Yeah, I'm not sure what that comment was about. You lose a lot. Aarakocra is actually a pretty feature bare race because that fly speed is just so good. Okay, it just deals 1d4 damage on a hit. It counts as a simple melee weapon with which you are proficient. Okay, so this does not qualify for unarmed strikes. You cannot use this as a monk. And it uses Constitution instead of Strength. Good. Good. They got rid of some of the clunky math that was in this. Okay. Whenever you attack with this bite and hit a creature that isn't a construct or an undead, you can empower yourself in one of the following ways of your choice. You regain hit points equal to the piercing damage dealt by the bite. You gain a bonus to the next ability check or attack roll you make. The bonus equals piercing damage dealt by the bite. Okay. Sure. Ability check or attack roll you make. Damage dealt by the bite. So 1d4 plus. So an average of 7.5 that you're going to be able to add to this at later levels. Yeah, this is okay because you can only do it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Don't mind that. That's actually rewarding you for going really, really aggressive, so I actually do like the second part of that. It is a fairly clunky, just additional attack that you can make. But I guess it's no worse than like Lizard Folk, Hungry Jaws. Yeah, actually, I think that Vampiric Bite could have been a short rest refresh. Yeah, this could have been a short rest refresh, and I think it would have been fine. That would have encouraged you to use it a lot more. Yeah, I think that that's actually a little bit weak. But what all are you realistically getting? You're getting a natural, simple melee weapon with which you're proficient. The damage dealt by the bite can get enhanced by... Wait. Wait. Didn't somebody run the numbers on this? This doesn't work with Barbarian, does it? Because it requires strength, right? When you attack with a melee weapon using strength. So it doesn't work with Barbarian. Because this isn't a you can add, it's just a you add instead of strength. So, yeah, they needed to tone this down, right? But like Spider Climb was something that very much needed to get addressed. Oh, wait, it does work with Hunter's Mark, doesn't it? Which I don't mind that just because that sounds so damn cool. What are you... Oh. Stop. Yep, 1d6 damage to it. When you hit it with a weapon attack, and you have advantage on any wisdom perception checks. How long does that last? When you attack with a bite in one of the following ways, and that only is for that attack. Okay. I don't mind Vampiric Bite. I actually think it might... I think that this could be tied to a short rest and this would be fine. It didn't have the instead of strength clause. Yeah, it didn't... I think it should have been you can add Constitution instead of Strength. I think that holds back build potential. I don't like that. I'm just gonna say I don't like that. Yeah, that limits build potential. I would have rather seen that applied to where you could use it with a barbarian. Yeah, I feel like that's restrictive. This refresh could have been on a short rest, and I would have felt pretty okay about that. The Deathless Nature is a good bump. Dark Vision is a good bump. Spider Climb is too good. Way too good. I can phrase that in multiple different ways in which that sounds ridiculously overpowered. In any interpretation you're going to take out from it, it's going to be too strong compared to what other characters can do at 3rd level. I think if you just made it the climbing speed, just give them that. You can move up, down, and across vertical surfaces and upside down along ceilings while leaving your hands free. If that was the normal scaling of what we see, like you can do that once per long rest, I'd be like, all right, we're good. But this just being an at-will 2nd level spell, when can Warlock do that? Because I think even Warlock is tied to like 9th level. Levitate, 2nd level spell. Yeah, 9th level. See? Your boy knows what he's talking about. 9th level restriction to be able to do an at-will 2nd level spell. Even at 3rd level, that's way too early for an effect like that. I am not a fan. Yeah. So, Vampire, I still don't think it's any more ridiculous than Yuan-Ti. I don't think it's going to outperform Yuan-Ti or Aarakocra or Grung, or it might be up there with Warforged. If you go Ancestral Legacy into this and you get a fly speed, this is absolutely insane. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm not sure what else to say about that. Yeah, these are the undead lineages that were in Van Richten's guide. So, let me catch up with chat real quick. Works well with Battlemaster superiority die. You are correct. Yep. Yep. Hexblade gets at will disguise self. Right, but disguise self doesn't have like the kinds of mechanical implications that something like Spider Climb does. Spider Climb is such a scary, like, what can you do with this? What does it mean for you in combat? I think that Spider Climb is just, like, honestly, possibly even a bit more reliable fly speed in a way. Give it farm this, bite a party member, and then get roughly +5 to that difficult Arcana check you're trying to make, then just use it. I mean, if you want to go with that, yeah, there could be some cool flavor in that, right? Like, guys, I want to make sure I pass this check. I need to enhance my senses. Someone let me bite your neck. Yeah. So, anyways, that's Vampire. It's probably, I would say, if I was gonna guess where this is gonna land on the Detect Balance scale, I think that the Detect Balance scale is most likely gonna put this around the 40 range. Yeah, I think Detect Balance is most likely putting this around 40, if not like 35-40 range. That's what I'll say. Okay, Hexblood. This is the one I'm most excited to see. This is the one that I saw the Unearthed Arcana and I got super hyped for this because I like the build potential with what's happening here. You are a Fae. Great. Okay, this is a great bonus, actually. You being a Fae means that you're immune to Hold Person, Charm Person, a lot of early level spells. You cannot be targeted with those effects. Wizards of the Coast, thank you for doing this and stopping with the hybrid stuff. Did you do a hybrid thing? No, you didn't. Thank you. Thank you for getting rid of that. That was going to be so annoying to deal with. Thank you. You're a Fae. Good. Good. Okay, wait, what happened? There we go. I also Okay, if you were able to be a fiend, then that might have been a little too strong. Fiend has a lot of other implications in it, so I do really like this, though. I do really like this. Do it. You are a Fae. Good. Thank you. Let's move on. You're small or medium. Okay, we know all that. Walking speed is 30 feet. That's the baseline. Ancestral Legacy. Come on. Get rid of this. Just quit it. Don't do this. Dark Vision. Good. Eerie Token. Yes. Okay. They kept it. This is such a funny feature. I absolutely adore this. Okay. Eerie Token. As a bonus action, you can harmlessly remove a lock of your hair, one of your nails, or one of your teeth. This is imbued with magic until you finish a long rest. While the token is imbued in this way, you can take these actions. This is so great. Telepathic Message. As an action, you can send a telepathic message to the creature holding or carrying the token, as long as you're within 10 miles of it. The message can contain up to 25 words. It's the message cantrip. Like, only out to a range of 10 miles. Out to a range of 10 miles. Now, it doesn't say that they can respond to you, but yeah. Yeah, god dang. Okay, so that's a way of them giving you the message cantrip without it being the message cantrip. Remote viewing. If you're within 10 miles of the token, you can enter a trance as an action. Wait, is this different? Okay. The trance lasts for 1 minute, but it ends early if you dismiss it, no action required, or are incapacitated. During this trance... Oh... This is... Yeah, okay, Hexblood. Hexblood is going to carry these races, for me, design-wise. You can see and hear from the token as if you were located where it is. While you're using your senses at the token's location, you are blinded and deafened in regard to your own surroundings. But when the trance ends, the token is harmlessly destroyed. Okay. This is a little bit weak. The telepathic message doesn't destroy it. So we're going to say that's a little bit weak. But this is such a good. Oh, man. Come on. Highlight. You can see and hear from the token as if you were located where it is. God, that's so good. Sneak this on somebody. Like, this is just encouraging you to do so many. Like, this is how you write right here. I love these. These are, yeah, they would have walkie-talkies, just toenail walkie-talkies. That's so gross. I love it. I love it. I love Eerie Token. This is an absolute hilarious shenanigan. This right here is what I wish we could have gotten with so many of the other, like, races or lineages. Which point you're missing part regrows. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. Eerie Token, purple. This may be one of my favorite racial features in the game right now. Like, so good. Hex Magic. You can cast Disguise Self and Hex spells with this trait. Once you cast either of these spells with this trait, you can't cast that spell until you finish a long rest. You can also cast them with any spell slots you have, so it isn't at will. This is still super good. Super strong. You can only cast them once. Okay. Now, this means that you can go in and use this as a sorcerer. Well, not technically as a sorcerer spell, but you can get... Ah, man, there's so much build diversity here. Rogue and Monk look super scary with Hex. Yeah. That is... pretty scary. I mean, even Fighter, being able to deal an additional 1d6 necrotic damage every time it hits the target. And even if you go the signature Hexcaster, right? Warlock. You think this is in the Warlock? Cool, you just know Hex. You don't have to pick it up with one of your valuable spells known. I'm good. This is so good. And then Disguise Self. Great out of combat roll. Yeah, guys, this is such a damn good feature. Hexblood. I don't see anything about this that feels overpowered to me. I don't like the Ancestral Legacy. Just get that off and yeah. This is out of everything I've seen, like after like, after everything I've seen from Tasha's moving forward, this is one of my favorite things in D&D 5e right now. Up there with, like, Genie Warlock, you know. Would Ranger work with Hex Magic? Yes. As long as it's not competing with Hunter's Mark, because the concentration with Hunter's Mark is going to be a thing. You can go like a Gloomstalker Ranger with Hex and not go with Hunter's Mark, and that's pretty sick. So there's a really cool flavor with that. Shouldn't Fae be blue because detect evil and good, protection from evil and good, Ancients Paladin, Watchers Paladin, Arcana Cleric? I mean, we're not really comparing it against other character options. We're kind of comparing it against what most monsters are getting in the game. I'm curious how many monsters actually get something like Detect Evil and Good, but I can't imagine it's going to be more than like 5% of the entire monster manual. You know what I mean? It does have counters, but like, you know, everything in this game has got to have some kind of a counter, right? The Fae type provides more benefits than detriments, really. Most non-humanoid creature types are going to provide more benefits for you. They're going to be actually really great defensively. So about the only ones that are going to be a detriment are going to be construct and undead for obvious reasons with healing magic, but there are other means of you regaining hit points with those character options. Yeah. I legitimately love the Hexblood. I just really do. I think that this is such a cool race option, right? Like, oh yeah, this is sick. I'm all about that. Okay. See, you all, I feel like I gave everything a pretty fair shake up, right? I'm not just out here saying like, this is all bad. Don't put this on your table. What are you talking? No. I allow a lot more stuff than I ban. Or that I feel is like overpowered. Okay, Reborn. Okay, your creature type is humanoid. They missed an opportunity with that. They should have allowed you to pick either undead or construct. I know it would have been not super strong for you. It would have been like, oh, what, like healing magic, whatever. Yeah, just like let players get it. Just let players get it. They should know. Put in a sidebar, hey, it's going to be hard for you to play as an undead. Give people the option to take that challenge on, okay? I was looking up here for a sidebar because maybe they did, but I don't see one. Yeah, I'm ignoring Ancestral Legacy. Yeah. Deathless nature. You have escaped death, a fact represented by the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against the season being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage. So good. So good. Purple. You have advantage on death saving throws. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. Boop. Mostly flavor, but hey, I mean, I like role-playing that stuff out. Yeah, you don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state, during which you retain consciousness. All right. So, I should correct with the genie video that like trance doesn't necessarily work. With the way that I had said it at first level, this does, because you finish the long rest in 4 hours. So you can go into your bottle at first level as your reborn warlock, your genie bottle, and stay there. You're safe. Finish a long rest. Boop, you're good. These are all beneficial. Straight up, they're all beneficial. Oh, if I was to put Hexblood, sorry, I missed this. If I'm gonna make a guess as to where Hexblood is gonna wind up in on the Detect Balance scale, on a rating of, like, usually they say 25 is average. I think that the average for a racial trait is actually around 30. I think this is actually going to be about a 35. Getting Hex has so many good implications for other builds. and it's flexible in that you can take that and go into like wizard or sorcerer or whatever. Twin spell with hex works, right? Wait, it's every time you do damage too. I think that Hexblood is going to be scary good. I think that, yeah. I wonder if they're going to actually change their rating because of this alone. Getting Hex is a racial trait, racial spell. Yeah. I like the Reborn, but it's not as wacky as the first two. I like whenever they do something bizarre. It's just I have to feel the inspiration from it. Okay. Knowledge from a past life. This is one that I knocked because I just didn't. You temporarily remember glimpses of the past, perhaps faded memories from ages ago or a previous life. When you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number on the d20 and add the number to the d6 to the check. Okay, you can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses. You finish a long rest? God, this is so boring. This is so boring. When you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can just add a d6, or you just add the d6. Does it not? Of everything I've played in D&D, I have never played a sorcerer. So I'm gonna misremember what some of that stuff is. Twin spell. Targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of self. You can... It should. Targeting more than one creature at the spell's current level. Yeah, this should work with Hex. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't. Knowledge from a past life. This is just really blah. It's like, it's only skill checks, that's correct. Was it better in the UA? This just felt like, okay, whenever you make an ability check, you can add 3.5 to the roll. That's, yeah. Of course it's good, it's a bonus, but like, it's any skill. It doesn't evoke the feeling of a past life. That evokes the feeling of I'm a skill monkey. I was gonna look something up. Oh, the Unearthed Arcana, okay. Alright, Gothic lineages, that's right. Okay, so what did they really change? Anything? Immediately after seeing the numbers, so they made it a little bit stronger? Did anyone think that that was weak? I mean, they just made it a bit easier to use, really. Yes, it is a... This is the thing, where like, I'm like, okay, yes, it's purple. Knowledge of a past life should give you 2 backgrounds, that's funny. Well, I would say, like, pick a background, or like, have your DM pick a background, and then whenever you make a check with that, you can add the d6 to it, right? So these 2 checks. Not every skill. Not every skill. This is okay. This is a strong feature. This is a strong feature. This completely lacks narrative execution. There's not a great narrative for what's happening here. And for those of you, I see there's 32 people of you in here, so hey, big live stream. I'm critiquing this as a designer, and I'm trying to look at the art of it behind it, not just the power, you know. Artistically, I don't think it hit the narrative of what we're going for. I think that this is pretty blah. Yeah, it's a strong feature, but I think it fails from a narrative standpoint. The rest of the stuff is okay. This is totally acceptable. Yes, you can allow this at your tables. I think it'd be fine. Hexblood is super cool. Hexblood's super cool. I love the Hexblood. Dampier, I feel like is still overtuned. Spider climb, that does not need to be on a race. If you're just doing this because you're like, I'm a creepy vampire, I'm gonna climb on the ceiling, like, just give him a climbing speed. Let it do that. This needs to be tied into some kind of a resource. Maybe if it started out that, like, you could only do this, like, for a minute. You can use this feature to give yourself a climbing speed for, or to cast Spider Climb for 1 minute. At 9th level, you can cast Spider Climb at will on yourself, or you get the effects of Spider Climb on yourself. Whatever. The Reborn, this feature right here is just this feels like an artistic fail to me. It really does. I don't think that it's getting across character expression at all. The idea might be there, but they didn't develop on it any further, and that's pretty sad. I would have loved to have seen knowledge from a past life really expanded upon into, like, let's get specific with what your past life was, right? Is that worse than what's currently written? It might be a little bit weaker, but the narrative is going to be cooler. Is it really going to be all that much weaker that, like, these two skills, you can roll a d6 on them? Like, you get a d6, so it's like your past life is helping you recall some ancient knowledge of it. Yeah, because you can still use these on things that you're proficient with. Yeah, knowledge from a past life, I just, yeah, it's kind of a big miss for me. I don't know, what else do you guys want to see? Because now that we've looked over all the character options, and I'm kind of the character option crunch guy, well, I say crunch, I'm the character option, what is it, fun review guy, sure. What else do you guys want to see in here? Because I've seen these. They reprinted Haunted 1, Investigator. Oh, the monster stat blocks. Okay. So, I'm kind of of the opinion that character option wise, Wizards of the Coast is kind of, they need some more help there. However, the DM facing tools in this book look pretty damn good. Let's start with the monster stat blocks, because, like, I want to display one of these monsters in particular that, if you saw my post here on YouTube earlier, absolutely fell in love with. Not only because I think that the monster is just hilariously gross and adorable, but Jesus, there's an interesting mechanic that it's introduced that I'm all about. So, Body Taker plant. This, okay, so it's a huge plant. I just love that they're leaning into more of the classic horror stuff with this. I really do. Could Hexblood been more interesting than... I think the Hexblood is totally fine with where it's sitting. It may have gotten the option to go Fiend, but I think Fiend is a little bit stronger, actually, than Fae. Haunted Traps. Okay, you got me. Dark Bargains, I've heard a lot of people ask about them. So, with the stat blocks, Entrapping Pod, this is looking pretty nasty. This thing is coming out, dealing an average of, so we have 22, okay, 3 Vine Lash attacks, so an average of 33 damage per turn, and it can grapple a creature and restrain it. When the plant dies, it returns to life in the space where it died 1d12 months later. This, okay. Unless the ground where it took root is sown with salt or soaked with poison. I love this stuff. I love the flavor that this gets across, right? This creature has something that, if you want to talk like The Witcher, this stuff right here, that's so sick. This thing creates different podlings, which are little CR half humanoids. No, plants. But they look like humanoids. Yeah. Behaves like that creature, but occasionally lapses. An observer familiar with the creature DC 20, and okay. The podling melts into a slurry when it dies. Okay. Oh, man. So, this is it almost feels like an Oblex turned into a plant. Oh, wait, is it vulnerable to poison? Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, we have a monster that's vulnerable to poison damage. Oh, that is too funny. Okay, I think that might be a first. Is that a first? No, you know, as soon as a player hits it with a poison dagger, they're gonna, and then you're like, oh, well, it takes double damage. You're gonna be like, what? Wait, what? It's the only one. It's the only one. That's too fucking funny. Oh my god, that is too funny. This is the first creature we have in D&D 5e that is vulnerable to poison damage. Remember how bad I'm telling you guys poison damage is? It took us 5 years to get a single monster that's vulnerable to it. Yeah. So Cloudkill just got way better. Ah, man, you're gonna nuke that thing. Yeah, speed of 10 feet. Cloudkill. Just go in, cast Cloudkill. That's it, and stay away from it. Oh, this is so dead. This is so dead. Okay, so I like what this does. It feels like an Oblex, but I can kind of tell already. Yeah, and it's not immune to poison, so like it can escape the no wait, that's all the DC. Okay. Yep. Okay, so anybody want a tip on finding a body taker plant? Take Cloudkill and just dance around your cloud while this thing just melts. Absolutely melts. Oh man. Okay, well, great art. I love it. I mean, it's cool. I always like more plant enemies. I'm all here for that. Okay. That's not alright. This... Like, why is it that the fact that it has a beard is, like, still kind of upsetting to me? Like, the fact that it's a hairy skin sack is so... Ugh. Jeez, man, that is gnarly artwork. What? Okay. Not all animate corpses shamble from their graves. Boneless are undead remains devoid of skeletons. Most rise from the bodies of those who've suffered brutal ends, such as deliberate skinning or crushing. Deathless malice infuses what remains, their husks flopping and slithering in pursuit of vengeance, or at the whims of sinister masters. Slipping through the cracks and under doors, these stealthy undead seek to adorn living frames once more, wrapping themselves around their victims and wringing them to death in their full body grip. That is so upsetting. This is so nasty. They arise in a variety of forms. While the animate skin of specific creatures are most common, foul spellcasters might create these horrors from the scraps of failed experiments, necromantic slurries, heaps of discarded hair, abattoirs, and charnel concoctions. These origins don't affect a boneless's statistics, but lend it distinct forms. Whether through ancient or depraved genius, some villains use one corpse to create two separate undead. Boneless might still adorn frames of other undead like skeletons or zombies. This is... I love... Okay. I'll stay up late at night and read like SCP articles. I watch scary... yeah, all the time. I've seen some shit. This thing scares me, alright? This is legitimately something that I think is one of the first very, very, very upsetting monsters I've seen in a while. Just throw a bunch of these guys as like fur coats over your zombies and skeletons, man. Oh, this artwork is horrifying. So what can it do? It can compress through any opening at least 1 inch wide. It has a speed of 30 feet. Are you kidding me? It's resistant to bludgeoning and poison damage. Can't be charmed, can't be frightened. It's tankier than a zombie. Whoa. Multi-attack. 2 slam attacks, so 10 damage on average. If both attacks hit a larger, smaller creature, it is grappled, and the bonus can use its crushing embrace. Wraps around a larger, smaller creature grappled by it. While the bonus is attached, the target is blinded and unable to breathe, so now you're suffocating. DC 13, okay, about 60% chance that you're going to succeed on that at earlier levels. Or take 5 bludgeoning damage. If something moves the target, the bonus moves with it. The bonus can attach itself by spending 5 feet of its movement. Creature can try to attach it and force it to... Okay. So it just wraps around you and it's nasty. It's a gnarly, nasty thing of tissue. But it immediately makes all these... I was wondering, because what other undead do we have that feel like they're kind of iconic, right? Skeletons, zombies, you got mummies, ghosts, sure. This thing, just a nasty skin sack. This might... Yeah, does anyone know, was this like an old school D&D monster? Because I don't think I've ever seen this before. This is sick nasty. I love this. Brain in a jar. I think we've seen Brain in a jar in the past. This has been, I think it was in an adventure. I will say, the strength of this book is not that. Okay, the strength of this book's monster stat blocks is not that it's necessarily introducing Ravenloft specific stat blocks. These are all classic horror. Like, these feel like great, you get that old school scary movie feel out of monsters, right? Like, this is super, I'm totally down for a book like this. I would have very easily spent like, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, I would have pretty easily have dropped about like $10, if not a little bit more, on just the stat blocks for this, if that was like its own secondary product, you know. I absolutely adore these stat blocks that I've seen in here. This is a big reason why I love having bought this book. Yeah, 1 int boneless. They lose their brain from what I can tell. I mean, I don't... Jesus Christ, I hope there's not a soaky brain up there that's going to touch you. Brain in a jar. This is a pretty fucky early level encounter. Brain in a jar is a pretty good way to introduce psionics into a campaign at early levels. And I even still find that, like, Brain in a jar, the times that I've run it, sure, it can't... I mean, you notice that it's got that 10 feet of fly speed, right? If you find ways to protect this, give it some minions and whatnot, this is going to be a scary encounter. I really dig the Brain in a jar. It's got a pretty thick stat block, so I won't go through all of it right here. What I would recommend is check out, again, I keep plugging this book, but it's just such a great plug-in. Check out The Monsters Know What They're Doing by Keith Amon, and start reading on how to run Undead, and then come check out The Brain in a Jar, because, like, boy, this thing is a tactical mastermind. I love Brain in a Jar. You made a one-shot from Brain in a Jar. They're interesting. I really love this monster as a concept. Carrion Stalker. I love this artwork. The artwork is so good in this book. Like, it's like a nasty horseshoe crab. A Oh wait, that's its underside. Pale larva that infests the corpse. Wait, what? So it's like a they enjoy symbiotic relationships with carrion crawlers. Carrion crawlers won't devour bodies infested by carrion stalkers, but they often pick up stalker larvae as they rot amongst filth. The crawlers then spread these grubs, potentially infecting whole sewers, graveyards, battlefields with carrion stalkers. Oh, these are... Oh, man. Okay. I always think of monsters as cool set pieces that can really decorate... oh, the boneless is from old Ravenloft. Okay, cool. Good. Glad for more updates. Love this. So... Yeah, flesh golems are Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, it's just that we hadn't really gotten a lot of, like, the ones that kind of checked off some of the boxes for the horror tropes, you know? Like, zombies, sure, but those are kind of a given for any fantasy setting, right? Let me kind of emphasize my point here. The Dullahan, we didn't have an official Headless Horseman stat block, right? Okay, y'all, they straight up statted a way for you to make the serial killers like Jason, Freddy, and like Michael Myers, the Relentless Slasher, and the Relentless Juggernaut. These are D&D Jason Voorhees. Like, it's so good. Unspeakable Horrors. These are a way that you can customize an Eldritch horror to be kind of anything, any kind of Eldritch monster you really want it to be. This is so sick. I love the modularity of this. This is realistically like 3 stat blocks combined into one. You see here like Malleable Mass, Oozing Organs, Loathsome Limbs. You pick up one, you choose one of these 3, and then it changes the stat block out. Man. Just the artwork on these is super sick. Giant snake story that Junji Ito made. Man, is there... I haven't looked through every single one of these. Is there... This feels pretty... I mean, it's Lovecraft, sure, but like... Man, I'm trying to figure out, is there like some Ito kind of influence in here? Swarm of zombie limbs. What? A zombie clot. Guys, it's just a big golem made out of zombies. A plague spreader. Is this... Does it explode? Virulent miasma. Okay, I am pulling you. Just me as a DM, I feel like I just... There's a lot to love in this one. A were-raven. Alright. I love it. The vampire mind flayer. Vampiric mind flayer. I mean, it looks like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Like, this is... Why does it have teeth? Like, all... Oh. God dang. Okay, Inquisitors. Inquisitor of the Mindfire. This, okay, so we have psionics. They keep running with charisma on that. Okay, more swarms. Swarm of maggots, swarm of scarabs. Oh. Skeleton eyes. If the swarm starts its turn in the same space as a dead creature that is large or smaller, the corpse is destroyed, leaving behind only equipment and bones. Who cares about gentle repose anymore? Send in a swarm of scarabs, and you just chew them down? What? Oh my god. This is... Vampire Mind Flayer is a classic Ravenloft monster. I'm glad it's here. I am super glad these are all Strigoi. Are you a big oh my god, is it the mosquito thing? Is it a strig? No. Oh my god, what are they called? It's gonna drive me crazy. What's the giant mosquito? It's Stir something. STR something. Um, Sturges, yes, Sturge, thank you. I could have just scrolled up. The first Strigoi were created by spellcasters who subjected swarms of Sturges to transmutation spells. Other Strigoi have emerged as a result of similar spellcraft as the byproducts of outlandish scientific experiments and from Sturges draining well-fed vampires. When a Strigoi arises, the unnatural creature is overwhelmed by an instinctual hunger that drives it to undertake bloodthirsty rampages, along with swarms of emboldened blood-sucking pests. Strigoi drain the blood, marrow, and soft tissues from their victims, leaving behind nothing but empty husks. Due to their horrifying nature of their deaths, those slain by Strigoi occasionally reanimate as boneless. Okay, so you have a means of... They give you an adventure hook right here. Right here. You want to see that this monster is going to be in a campaign? Put in some boneless early on. Strigoi are one of the Russian words for vampires. It was often used here for Sturges, even though there is nothing in common between them other than blood-sucking and name. Huh. Okay. I was like, I thought I had heard of that name before. And it's a CR4. This is a great ender. I'm feeling a really cool ender for the first tier to play right here. Proboscis. And it regains hit points equal to the necrotic damage dealt. Is there any way to stop its regeneration? Command any Sturge. Oh. Okay, so is this a pre-existing monster? Okay, yes, they are. Yeah, and The Witcher pulls from a lot of that, like, Slavic and Romani and Russian lore. Okay, so it sounds more like they're just kind of using Strigoi in name only on this. Striga, yes. Okay. Ravenous Children. Magically summons 1d4 plus 2 Sturges. I'm using this. I need the mini. This is so cool. Just Big Mosquito Boy. That's so upsetting. Big Mosquito Vampire. I love it. The Proboscis, allowing it to... The creature reduces 0 hit points from this attack, dies, and leaves nothing behind except its skin and its equipment. Oh, God. No bones. This is like, it liquefies you. I love that they're going in this direction. Okay, this is the thing I love about old school D&D. Old school, like, OSR stuff, is that, like, yes, things are going to get gritty and grim with certain monsters, right? And if you don't want, gritty and grim, don't use these kinds of monsters. Let's stay effective to the lore, or maybe don't use certain actions. Like, yeah, this is the kind of thing right here that I love out of, like, old school dungeon crawls, is this nasty, gnarly, like, this is what death does, you're gonna, whenever you die, it's gonna be a death that, like, oh my god, what? Like, Strigoi, this looks sick nasty. And it's more reason for me to buy more Sturge minis, I guess. So, yeah, that's a new favorite. Star Spawn, okay, we're used to... Oh, God, that art. Yeah, if we really wanted Eldritch Horror, here we go. Oh. Okay, the Relentless Killers, I think, are pretty cool. Really the big thing for them, yeah, CR12, Jesus. They're gonna hit hard. They're gonna be very, very hard to take down. But for the most part, like, they're just kind of big brutes, Like, yeah, the Juggernaut magically shapes a feature of its surroundings into deadly implement. Creature that the Juggernaut... This is like a big way of it pulling off, like, a chunk of a structure and then using it as a weapon. Were they a Balkan thing? Maybe. It looks like a lot of their lore is in, like, Eastern Europe. So, Flying Stone. But it has a lot of ways to like... Oh, what? Sliding shrapnel. The target takes one... Okay, this is all tied into... Okay, so it's one of these two. It's either going to be a flying stone or sliding shrapnel, so it's going to have additional implications for it. God, the target takes 3d6 necrotic damage from the wound left by the shrapnel? For how long? A wound ends if the target regains any hit points, or if a creature uses an action to staunch the wound, which requires this... Okay. Man, yeah, this is... Whoa. Do you take damage if you hit them? I don't really see... I mean, the regeneration, man, that's significant. Man, this is a scary boy. Makes 2 attacks. But it has to recharge Deadly Shaping. Okay. That almost feels like a layer action, really. Executioner's Pick, Fist. Yeah, this feels really more cinematic than like I can keep continuously using this monster. But I do like that they just kind of made a, like, you know, what would Jason Voorhees kind of feel like in Ravenloft? Like, that's just great. And then the Slasher, it's a little bit weaker version of it. It doesn't have the regeneration. Slasher's Knife. This is going to be really classic Jason Voorhees right here. The Slasher's immune to any effect that would sense its emotion or read its thoughts, and it can't be detected by abilities that sense fiends. Oh, so they are fiends. Okay. The Slasher's Knife, it gives you a grievous wound, all that stuff. Vanishing Strike is so funny. The Slasher makes 1 Slasher's Knife attack. After the attack hits or misses, the Slasher can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. So it's literally like you turn around and it's no longer there, you know? Yeah, I love that. I love that. That half-baked barbarian subclass. Go for it. I mean, right here, I'm a huge fan of taking monster stat blocks and trying to make class options out of them. I love that idea. It's the killing monster features that are story enders. Well, you have to die by that feature. Like, you have to die by that action already. And quite honestly, like at lower levels of play, they haven't hit 5th level yet, and this is a CR4 creature, so like, yeah, I mean, if this kills you, it's honestly no different other than cinematics for what that means by it killing you, you know? Nosferatu, we get a slightly weaker vampire in a way. What is it? Oh, this is Necrocore, which I haven't gotten super into. It's an undead? You're not an ooze? This thing is like living blood. It's like sentient blood in a vial. Just, yeah, edgy, gothic, you know. A dire werewolf, it essentially is what we're talking about here. The Lugero, I guess. Finally giving it Blood Frenzy, which is like what every werewolf needs. The Jiangshi is pure of its own reflections, susceptible to holy symbols. I'm not familiar with it. Is it an Asian monster? Yeah. So a bunch of like, Chinese vampire flicks. Okay. Oh, I'm down. Okay, so what kind of distinguishes it? What kind of distinguishes it from... It's French. All this stuff is coming up as Chinese for this. Consume energy. So that's its regain hit point thing. Doesn't require air. Were they in Bundle's Guide to Monsters? Wait, really? I don't remember. I don't see anything about them. Yeah. Hopping vampires. Oh, man. Polymorphs into a beast, humanoid, or undead that is medium or smaller. Huh. I mean, CR9, I guess it's a little bit different flavor. I can look more into the lore. When a soul becomes trapped within its corpse, its bitterness can reanimate its body, creating a Jiangshi. Jiangshi. I swear I'm mispronouncing that. These vengeful dead stalk their descendants and communities they knew in life, sowing terror and striking retribution for the sites or neglected burial rites that led to their cursed resurrections. Rigor mortis notoriously affects the limbs of Jiangshi, causing them to hold their arms rigidly and walk with a stiff gait. This, along with their flight, led many to call them hopping vampires. By day, Jiangshi lurk within their tombs and hidden ruins to avoid attention of the living. At night, they emerge to drain life from other creatures, these vital energies sustaining their unnatural existences and granting them greater powers. Humanoids killed by a Jiangshi rise as life-hungry corpses and might turn into Jiangshi themselves if they feed upon the living. Rises as a white. Oh, cool. I like this. It transforms into a white, and if it kills a humanoid, then it turns into a Jiangshi. Oh, Chaozu is based off of the... Really? I can't get excited for new 5e monsters since I started adapting 4e monsters. Or I tried using adapting 4e monsters. Not really. On it, like, I'll do adaptations if it's like that monster just does not exist in D&D 5e, but like, for the most part, I've been pretty happy with monster stat blocks as they've been coming out. Ooh, Grimishka. This is so funny. This is, yeah. I love this thing to death. It may be one of my new top favorite monsters of all time because of this magic allergy reaction. This is so funny. Magic allergy. Now notice. Not a whole lot happening here, right? Not a whole lot in its armor class, its hit points, its speed, whatever. CR 1/8, awesome. I love CR below like a quarter monsters because I feel like I can throw a bunch of these in a dungeon and it's gonna give me a lot of mileage, right? It's tough enough to where it's not gonna just straight up be a minion, and it's just a little tiny cat goblin looking guy, except it has this super funny reaction right here with magic allergy. Immediately after a creature within 30 feet of the Grimishka casts a spell, the Grimishka can spontaneously react to the magic. Roll a d6 to determine the effect. 1 to 2, the Grimishka emanates magical energy. Each creature within 30 feet of the Grimishka must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, or take 3 1d6 force damage. Not a whole lot right there. The Grimishka surges with magical energy and regains 1d6 hit points. 5 to 6. The Grimishka explodes and dies, and one swarm of Grimishkas instantly appears in the space where the Grimishka died. The swarm uses the Grimishka's initiative. They're supposedly related to gremlins. I mean, they look like gremlins. I love these guys. The swarm. With the swarm, you don't just get this infinitely exploding thing, right? Maybe if you reduce it down to just one, then at that point I'd be like, okay, cool. Then maybe have it be a Grimishka, right? But like, the spell redirection in response to a spell attack roll missing the swarm. The swarm causes that spell to hit another creature of its choice within 30 feet of it. Oh god, this is so funny. Limited spell immunity. The swarm automatically succeeds on saving throws against spells of 3rd level or lower, and the attack rolls of such spells always miss, which it can redirect. Oh my god, these things are so funny. What song is this? That's a good question. Oh, it's Green Path from Hollow Knight. Are they a D&D original or are they from real life folklore? Let's do some cryptozoology. Everything I'm getting is going back to there's a town in Russia called Grimishka, but everything else is going back to Ravenloft, so it looks like they've been around for a hot second. And then Michael Galvis has already written a article for them. Yeah, these I think these are going to be a new favorite for so many people. These are too funny. I love these things. And it's a big challenge. This is a big challenge. If you think that spellcasting is way too strong in D&D, then like throw a swarm of these guys out there. So good. I love the Grimishka. Gallows Speaker, Foretelling Touch. Oh, okay, so you can subtract. Well, spooky ghost boy. I mean, you guys have heard kind of the ones that I think are like super interesting. I'll have to look a bit more at the Zulahan. I know that's going to be a really iconic kind of a monster to throw into a campaign. Wait, it just has like a bunch of heads with it? What? Wait, what? Oh, it can throw the fiery skull. Okay. In addition, it summons 3 death's heads. Oh, so it's got... It's a flying... Okay, a death's head is a disembodied flying head. The type of creature of one of these grotesque undead originated from determines how it terrorizes its prey. A death's head that arises from a person or animal swoops down to rip apart victims with its gnashing teeth. One with the head of monster like a Nothic or Medusa, though, retains a measure of its power that it had in life, and it can befuddle the minds or petrify the bodies of its victims. So, you can send out a flying Medusa head. You can send out a flying Nothic's head. Like, yeah. Pretty down with this, and it's only a CR half. Okay, petrification is the kind of condition that I'm really reluctant to use on characters under 5th level. That is such a detrimental condition, and it's pretty rare that they're going to have a counter to it. Be very careful with throwing that one around there. CR half, this is... Ooh. It's another case like the Shadow, where this is going to actually punch a bit above its CR. Be careful with that one. The Carrion Net. It's made of dead things, isn't it? Carrion, right? Gross. No thank you. Okay. So, lots of really good stuff in here. I really do like the monster stat blocks in here. Let me see here. I'm going for 3 hours. Okay. Let me take a glance. I think the dark gifts are... So they're like extensions on backgrounds. Okay, so these are just going to be more like... Yeah, these are going to be expanded backgrounds. That's going to take a lot longer. I would need a little bit more time to look at that. And honestly, I've been going for 3 hours, and I got a lot of the meat that I wanted to get out of doing a live stream review. I do think that despite the character options being a little bit lackluster, I like a lot of the DM facing stuff that's going on in here. The Hexblood is cool. Hexblood's cool. Reborn's fine. Dampier is probably a little bit overtuned. College of Spirits Bard, you guys make your own judgments there. Undead Warlock, I actually feel like might be a little tiny bit weak. There's some design changes that I think they could have made in fitting with D&D 5e convention that could have brought the Undead Warlock up just a tiny bit. And I think it had the room to do that, you know. Carrionuts are evil little dolls, not made from flesh and wood, but it's... Oh, okay, so it's a little tiny scary doll. Yeah. The Headless Horseman is the undead version, okay. Oh yeah, Darren Korb is one of my favorite video game composers. His work on the Hades soundtrack was absolutely unreal. But I first heard about him from Bastion, and man, as soon as I heard him, I was like, all right, this dude's gonna be somebody in the scene. And yeah, Transistor soundtrack is sick. And then whenever he came out with the Hades soundtrack, I was like, ooh, I love this dude. Absolutely in love with Darren Korb. We've seen the Haunted One background before. We've seen the Investigator background before. We've seen horror trinkets before. So these are all... Aren't they all from Curse of Strahd? Anyways. The Dark Gifts is going to take a bit longer to look at. There's a lot of cool stuff in here about how to narrate for horror. So it's not just for people that want Ravenloft stuff, right? I think DMs are going to like this book a lot more than characters are, if I'm being completely honest, or players are. I don't think that this is... It's really not meant to be a player-centric book, right? Yeah. I guess that's about it. Oh, wait. You can do... Does it actually give you a use for a Soroka deck? Where? Okay. Fortune telling, okay. Soroka decks allow you to run encounters with fortune tellers for the character's fates. Once you're familiar with the cards and the meanings, you can interpret them in a way that ties into their past or events with your adventures. You can also use the results of tarot readings to guide your campaign and make sure predictions come to pass. Soroka hails from the same role as the okay. Further details in a complete Soroka deck appear. Alright. So... Oh, it's new reprint from Skag. Alright. Yeah, like I said, DMs are going to find a lot to love in here. I really think that everything I've seen so far, from Chapter 2 all the way to the credits, or all the way to the appendix, is super sick. Could you reflavor the Dark Gifts to be curses? I'm sure you could. If you put in the time, I'm sure it's possible. But for me, I've been talking for almost 3.5 hours now. So I think with that, we'll wrap it up. I think, I guess, oh wait, Haunted Traps? What? Wait. Okay, we'll do the Haunted Traps, and then I gotta get out of here. Haunted Traps, like other traps. Haunted Traps represent threats leveled towards trespassers. They originate in an area spontaneously, often resulting from overwhelming negative emotions, tragedy, or evil. Just as some terrible fates might cause a tormented individual to rise as an undead creature, so might supernatural evil and violent emotions manifest more generally as one or more haunted traps. Such traps provide a way to theme the dangers and monsters of a haunted place to reveal a grim history or frightening tale. When creating haunted traps, consider what events brought them into being and how the traps effect suggest those origins. Okay. So what does it do? Haunt bonus? What is a haunt bonus? Every trap has an emanation, which might be as subtle as a drop in temperature or over... Okay, cool. A haunted trap's emanation occurs before the trap takes effect. A character notices the emanation if their passive wisdom perception score equals or exceeds 10 plus the trap's haunt bonus. Okay. Character who notices the haunted trap has until the start of their next turn to react. Okay. Okay. Can discern desecration. Alright, cool. So, what do some of these traps do? What do we have? Two. Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sample ones. Oh god, a trap that makes you do Otto's irresistible dance. That's great. Faceless Malice. Let me look at this one because the artwork is just so... yeah. This haunted trap affects a 15-foot cube in front of an ornate mirror hanging on a wall. When a visible creature enters the area, the trap's emanation manifests as the creature's distorted reflection in the mirror. If that creature is still in the area at the start of its next turn, it must succeed on a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw or be blinded, deafened, and rendered unable to speak for 1 minute. Additionally, an illusion makes it appear that the creature has had its face erased. The remove curse spell ends this effect as does destroying the mirror. The mirror has AC 12, 10 hit points, vulnerability to bludgeoning damage, and immunity to poison and psychic damage. After it activates, the trap, it won't activate again for 24 hours. Jesus. Okay. That's pretty cool. It feels like it should be a monster, but it's just kind of a horrific effect in a way. Like kind of an unknowable thing that's like, it almost feels like the mirror should be a cursed item. Yeah, okay. All right, I can get behind this. I'll read into it a bit more. Would you run an all Hexblood campaign in which the players are bards, a girl rock band inspired by the Hex Girls? I guess. Like I don't really have a problem with that. Yeah. But I need to get off here. I need to go eat. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out on this live stream. Pretty long one. Hope everybody has some informed opinions about what they're gonna do with their games. So yeah. Oh, with haunts. Okay, especially nasty traps. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, I do a lot of D&D related content, breakdowns, analysis, homebrew design, music analysis, whatnot. So if that sounds like something that would interest you, there's a subscription button here. Do that. Come hang out. Do a lot of this. Come out and hang. Come check out the Discord where we talk about a lot of homebrew design and everything. From Budapest. Hey, thank you all. It's funny. I've got a lot of people that actually show up to the channel from across the pond. So, yeah, thank you. Thank everyone for being here. I hope, especially all of you over there near the conflict, are staying safe. Are all well taken care of. Anyways, so thank you to all my Patreon sponsors for helping me keep the lights on around here. You all are amazing, absolute heroes. Hope you all are staying safe, staying healthy, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.